And that's the scene from Leederville Oval, looking across towards the city and panning back towards the ground for our telecast match of the afternoon. Today's game in the WAFL today, West Perth and South Fremantle. West Perth, who finished 6th last season, and South Fremantle, who finished 5th. Both sides on the ground. The umpires for this afternoon's game, Brian Hearn and Reg Salis. In earlier games, South Fremantle easy winners in both the Colts and reserves. Bright sunny day in Perth. Temperature hovering about 30 degrees and a crowd of about, I suppose, 7,500 watching proceedings at the moment. Two new coaches in the league, both of them seen in this game. John Wynne at West Perth and Don Haddow at South Fremantle. John Wynne, of course, a former champion player, went to South Australia, did very well with the Norwood club as a player. Don Haddow, a South Fremantle stalwart, has coached through their lower grades and now has risen to be senior coach. Interesting aside is that his assistant today is the former assistant coach of the last 3 seasons here at West Perth, Clinton Farmer. A man who'll have plenty of insight, I think, into the West Perth players and the way they play their football. There's John Wynne and his entourage. Colin Hebbard just moving away there, the chairman of selectors. John Wynne, a strange figure in league football so far this season. Not much has been heard from him. With me in the commentary position, Keith Slater and Paul Mountain. To my right, Keith Slater. On my left, Paul Mountain. I feel as though I've been here before, Spud, but it's nice to be back at Leederville. 2 new coaches. How do you see it going?
Yes, well, the conditions are absolutely magnificent, aren't they, for football?
Thanks, Dennis. Well, the conditions absolutely magnificent for football, and an interesting game. If we hope it's not a game as the reserves game was, a very one-sided affair there with South Fremantle steamrolling West Perth. But this should be different. It did show that West Perth maybe have a lack of depth in their club. But by the same token, out on the field here in the league game today, they have a pretty competent side. I think if they have a weakness, it is in the big man department with Craig Nelson not playing. And, of course, Craig Nelson developed into one of the top big men in the competition last year. Able to play well at centre-half forward on the ball, and he'll be badly missed today. Kim Rogers comes in, and he has an enormous task to almost take on the big South Fremantle ruckman single-handed. He'll take on Stephen Michael first, and of course he'll be backed up by John Doridich and generally and Craig Edwards, of course, and generally South Fremantle look too strong in this department. A very talented side, South Fremantle. I suppose the best duels of the day could come from across the centre line, where we have Menaglio and Grilicic opposed, McAlgic and Carter, and Warwick and Winmar. So we're looking forward to a top game, Dennis, and I think the conditions are all in favour of that.
South have won the toss. They're going to the Tech School end, the northern end of the ground. As play starts, the 85 centenary year is underway, and a chance for South Fremantle immediately. Stephen Michael crashing his way through the pack. It goes out wide. Paul Mifka is there, and Mifka was pushed in the back. The star recruit of 1984. Taking a kick. He's playing on the wing. He was listed to start on a half-back flank. He's got the ball midway between half-back and centre. He goes out wide and finds Laidley drifting up from a half-back flank. So Laidley on left centre wing for West Perth. Wide to McAlgic moving into open space, and he takes the mark on his chest, left half forward. George McAlgic, evergreen, cuts infield. High kick to centre half forward. Pack at the fall of the ball. South Fremantle there in number, but over the top. Big mark is taken down there by Doug Sims. Doug Sims rushed back into this team, kicks across the face of the ground looking for Bradmore, knocked away from him. Chance for Darren Buick, could have been holding the ball. They go in pretty solidly down there, and South bring it away. Hand pass comes across and breaking away now Matera. Matera kicks towards centre wing, not taken cleanly by Warwick. Warwick on the left foot out wide to accommodate Menaglio, and he takes the mark at right half forward. Menaglio into attack, bouncing ball. Narkle coming through for South Fremantle. In close pursuit there is Darren Buick, goes to ground, breaking away now South Fremantle, and the kick comes back towards centre wing and Doridich. Grilicic was the player who got it to him. In goes Menaglio, could have been pushed in the back. He tries to paddle it wide. Bergona does well to Visoli. Back into the path of Grilicic. Grilicic across half forward, kicks it long down towards the pocket. In fact, Suter is in front. Cutler lending assistance. Cutler paddles it towards the boundary line. Through it.
Very lucky to get away with that. Definitely went for the boundary line, and the umpires have really already created a precedent.
Boundary throw in. Edwards from behind looking to get it down to Matera, knocked away by Cutler to Fong. Out wide, Warwick indecisive. Warwick kicks grandstand side, taken as he kicked the ball by Bergona. Relayed free kick to be taken by Menaglio.
He should go long. He's a beautiful kicker of the football.
Menaglio just backward of centre wing. Kicks towards half-forward. Kickett was pushed in the back, and he'll take a free kick. The offending player, Ken Martin. And now 15 metres against Martin. Takes him back towards the 50-metre line. Derek Kickett, an exciting footballer, goes long. That is a long kick to the teeth of goal. Big pack assemble. Across the top comes Dempsey Narkle. Young man making his debut this afternoon. He fists it into the behind post and will have a boundary throw in.
Well, Kickett doesn't look very fit, Dennis, but by Jove, he can kick a football.
Yes, marvellous skills, Keith. There's the throw-in. Steve Michael from behind does it well, dashing through Corey Buick. Still he goes, Corey Buick, paddling the ball in front of him. Michael crashes back into the pack and will have a bounce.
West Perth have got good value from their long kicks, haven't they? Managlio and then Kickett getting the ball deep into attack for West Perth.
The breeze not a factor, just wafting across the ground. Decisive ruck, knocked down to Buick. Was it touched on the line? No, it wasn't. Stockley did very well as he flicked it down to Buick, and Buick from about 15 metres out puts it through.
Welcome back, Corey Buick. Most of his first kick in the game, and he threaded it through a nest of South Fremantle players. A desperate effort there by the South Fremantle defender, unsuccessful. That was Sombrello, and a through for the first goal of the game. So as I was just saying to Dennis Cometti, West Perth got good value from their long kicks. It started with Managlio, who received a relayed kick. He drove it long into centre half forward with a long kick from Kickett, and Corey Buick the first goal on the board.
Play restarts back in centre field. Michael gets it down. Mosconi now for South. Gets it across to Grilisic. He props and kicks towards half forward. Dorotic takes the mark. Plenty of players going past, but the hand pass was well read by Stevens. Now Stevens is penalised for taking Dorotic too high. Dorotic indecisive. Tackled by Stevens. Well, he's had a few attempts out there to move the ball. Unsuccessfully so far, Dorotic. This is Vagona. Michael is on. That's the direction the kick takes. But Fong read it well. Fong sees Managlio on. Carter comes across the mark, and as a result, 15 metres to West Perth. They would have been better served had Fong been able to move the ball to Managlio. In front, Bradmore, strong mark. And he's roughed up a little down there by Stephen Mount. And immediately tempers become frayed down there. And Bradmore will, with 15 metres, come down towards the 50-metre line. Another 15-metre penalty. So inside 50 metres goes Spock with a chance to score. Not a vast crowd here today, but conditions ideal for watching footy. Bill Bradmore. Kick is on its way. Swinging away to the left. Behind. West Perth a 1-1. South Fremantle are yet to score.
Well, West Perth have settled down a lot more quickly than South. And that was a very good mark by Phil Bradmore.
Sam Braylow kicks to the outer side in best position to mark out there, South Fremantle. Stephen Mount. Mount around the outer side with what is a high kick. Laidley from behind fisting it forward, roving the pack there for South. Matera closing on him, Corey Buick. The ball spills out of bounds. Throw in outer side. Rogers opposed to Michael. Michael wins it down nicely. Matera feeds Carter. Carter breaks away. Kicks towards half forward. Almost the mark down there to Dorotic. Should have taken it. West Perth arrive in number. Brendan Bell is well tackled that time. Ball spills wide of the pack. Cutler. Over the top it comes to Laidley. West Perth bring it out of defence. Laidley around the outer side. Nifka's away. Kicking high towards half forward. Bradmore in from the side. Strong mark is taken down there by Amoroso. Read it well, Tony Amoroso, just drifting across the pack. A man who can mark, as you saw in our opening credits. So Amoroso, midway between half-back and centre, kicks in towards centre field, jostling down there. Dorotic cleverly looking for the run by. That was Vasoli. But it's tidied up for West Perth by Laidley. Mifka already creating havoc on the far side. Mifka kicks towards the half-forward line, but the mark is taken by Dempsey Narkle. Big rangy boy Narkle. Chips it in short. Vasoli, ever reliable, turns up between the lines, this man. Draws a man now and pops the hand pass away, and South run it out. Comes to Carter. Carter too quickly. As a result, it's with Mifka. South looking sloppy at the moment. Mifka goes forward. Finds this man Sims. Now Sims is a long kick. He hooks it back to a central location. Knocked away there by Stockley. Another chance for the big fellow. Taken high. And Michael Stockley will get a free kick. He's back from Kalgoorlie, Stockley. He played for West Perth a few seasons ago, went to East Fremantle, played a couple of senior games down there. And now back with the Falcons. Mike Stockley. Looks pretty good. Puts it through. West Perth off to a great start. West Perth at 2-1-13. South Fremantle yet to score.
Well, sloppy play, as you said, Dennis Cometti, by South Fremantle. They had possession. They thought they were just going to run the ball forward. They didn't allow for the desperation of West Perth, especially Mifka. It was he that chipped in on that centre wing, and down went the ball. And Stockley, a very big man, he adds a bit of weight and strength to the West Perth side. He got one around the head and he's made no mistake. So a good start here by a very determined West Perth side.
Back in the centre, play restarts. Chance for McAlgic, knocked away by Carter. Still it's Noel Carter, battling in there for South Fremantle. Comes to Michael, feeds the hand pass to Winmar. Winmar kicks it towards half forward. Out in front is Bell. Does it well, does Bell, but robbed of the ball. Grillius, it should have gone short to Dorotich, but the long kick will be good in any case. Well done. South Fremantle a goal, West Perth a 2-1.
Well, Rod Grilisic, he's been prominent in this game on this wing. In fact, he must have had 4 or 5 kicks already. But he's a beautiful kicker of the football, is Rod Grilisic. I thought he started to play very well for South last year. And today he started off well. And 2 or 3 times now he's kicked the ball beautifully to Dorotich, who's fumbled the ball at centre half forward. Beautiful passes. And on that occasion, Grilisic decided to do it himself. And he made no mistake.
Interesting figures there. Both these teams notoriously slow starters last season. 5th and 6th best in the league. This is Vasoli. Right foots, if you don't mind. Down towards the right full forward pocket. Bounce eludes everybody, bar this man Cutler. Away he comes. Kicks to the outer side. Mark taken in front, Mosconi. Feeds to Carter. He's being very busy in the centre. Carter chips it in short, and the mark is taken by Dorotich.
He doesn't have to get many kicks, Noel Carter, a magnificent user of the football. And by Jove, haven't they given Dorotich some chances here today? That must be about the 6th mark he's contested.
Yes, well, he's a man who can take a mark. John Dorotich. Kick is on its way, swinging away to the right. Behind. South Fremantle 1-1, West Perth a 2-1.
He looks a magnificent athlete out there today, this John Dorotich. He's obviously a very fit boy and has set himself for a very big season.
Interesting, those figures. Marks in 1984. John Dorotich is right up there. 4th best in the league. And Paul Mifka. That would surprise a few people. A wingman. Kick grandstand side. Stevens has it knocked away. This is Benny. Look out. Smothered off the boot. Well done. Chance for McAlgic. Went without it. Stevens goes in. Battling for the ball hard. Managlio. Tackled well. Darren Buick. To nobody in particular. Mosconi. Mosconi into the pocket. 2 of them there. Craig Edwards takes the mark on his chest. Craig Edwards, former East Perth player. Then he began calling for the ball in short. And he's annoyed he didn't get it. He wasn't on the best of angles though, Keith Begana. He was deeper in the pocket. With hindsight, it should have gone to Benny. Ball off hands. Cutler, a long hand pass looking for Bell. Edwards a chance to make amends, didn't. Dean Warwick coming back on his left foot. Hooks it across the ground and finds support out there, Laidley. To Darren Buick. Buick breaks away, kicks in towards centre field. Mifka's got the run of it. Mifka and Grilisic. Mifka fell over. Grilisic will win as a result. Outer side, nobody there, has to hook it back. It was intended for Vasoli. A chance now for South Fremantle, but West Perth have dropped the numbers. This is Darren Buick. Kick not a particularly good one towards centre half forward. Kick it, involuntarily got a boot to it. Back towards centre field. Great use of the body by Michael. Hand pass comes across now. We're going to getting the ball forward. Dorotich, a clever tap on. Slipping over there for South Fremantle, and bad luck for them. The big fellow down there. That was, well, he's not that big. Paul Vasoli, the biggest of the bunch. And we'll have a bounce.
Interesting that Rod Grilisic has gone over to play on Paul Mifka, and that could be a wonderful duel out in that outer flank.
Bounce down. Won by Stevens. High tackle applied to Laidley. He's doing very well on a half-back flank, Dean Laidley. Stevens. Kick towards the outer side. Mount. My word, he's very good overhead, Stephen Mount. This is Mosconi. They've been very happy with his performances as a ruck rover in pre-season games. Vasoli. This is Matera. Went without it. Diving on the ball, Warwick. Arnold could have held the West Perth player. No free kick. Emerging Matera, snapping back across his body. Good effort from there. Just sliding it across the face of behind to Wally Matera. South Fremantle 1-2. West Perth 2-1.
Very fiddly play, isn't it, by South Fremantle? They're not taking clean possession of the ball. They're knocking it onto a player running past all the time, and I think they'd get better results if they were to go in and get hold of that ball and do something constructive with it in their forward line.
Yes, West Perth playing the better football. As Suter kicks in into the air with Stockley, fisted away by Michael. The magic of Managlio, a high kick back to centre field, south in all directions. Mosconi missed the mark, bumped off it well. As a result, Bradmore comes away. Well played by Darren Buick to set it up. Bradmore kicking towards half forward, pushing the back on the West Perth player Doug Sims, and Sims is a very good kick. 2 men on the far side. He elects not to go, but he can kick a long way, Sims. This one will carry. No, kick it almost the mark. West Perth surrounding the ball. A chance for them now. Managlio, clever feed to Darren Buick, who misses, I think, from point-blank range. Managlio did very well in a tight corner there.
Well, Darren Buick deserved to finish that off, didn't he? He used his body magnificently on Mosconi to start that attack, and then following the ball down, he had a chance to finish his work, and unluckily for him and West Perth, he missed.
Kick in by Sambrello to the outer side. Mount the target. Second attempt. I thought it was good enough. The umpire didn't. Stephen Michael's got it now. Infield it comes. Collard gives it over the top, and South Fremantle move the ball on the outer side. Vasoli now. Vasoli goes down towards the full forward area, wide of the intended target Arnold, and it beats he and his marksman Suter across the boundary line. Played 14 minutes, first term, Leederville Oval. West Perth 2-2-14, South Fremantle 1-2-8.
A nice passage of play by South Fremantle, but wasted by Paul Fasoli at the finish. But their first sign of real team football.
Throw in. Not much happening. Dorotich leads in the race close to the boundary line. Foxing for a kick. Stevens in close attendance. A chance now as Bell gets a hand pass to Laidley. Back it comes to Buick. Buick across field. Managlio battling with McCaldic behind. McCaldic hooks it into open space. Storming down to meet the ball is Martin. It bounces kindly for him. Could go over the top. Could have hand passed it. Managlio does very well. Flicks it across to Pickett. Pickett breaks away now. Goes in short looking for Bradmore. Mount misses it. Bradmore's got it. Breaks towards the 50-metre line. Gets a hand pass to Darren Buick. A lot of players inside. Buick chips it across looking for Gaston. And Gaston has taken the mark.
Beautifully played, Darren Buick. Cool as a cucumber, the young man. Playing his first league game.
John Gastiv steers it through. Goal to West Perth.
Well, West Perth playing the better football, no doubt about that, and showing great maturity. Darren Buick then, I thought he summed the situation up magnificently, and really that's what this game of football is all about, setting up goals, not just blasting away, working the ball into that area between centre half forward and full forward, finding a man in that area, and on that occasion Buick prepared to go slightly backwards, but he found Gastev and he made no mistake.
So West Perth bring it away. Brendan Bell takes the mark. Not a good kick. This is Griliasic. Infield. He was looking for Carter. The South boys very slow to go to the ball. Eventually Edwards gets it to Vasoli. Across the top it goes Matera. Into the path of support. Socket attempt doesn't work for South Fremantle. Picked up by Winmar eventually. And Winmar puts it through for a goal. But even that was very hard work.
The South are not prepared to take clean possession of the ball, and they got away with it on that occasion. They kept the ball running towards their goals, and eventually Nicky Winmar picked it up and put it through. But they've had many opportunities in this quarter, and they haven't taken full advantage of them simply because they haven't been prepared to go in, take the ball and do something constructive with it. And there's the centre square takeaways. South Fremantle have taken it away 4 times, and West Perth have yet to take it out of the centre in this game.
Not having much influence on the way the game's going. Although there's not much in it. Edwards was up, opposed to Stockley. Stockley clean possession. The hand pass not all that good. Taken by Corey Buick. A clever hand pass across towards Fong. Fong at half forward does nicely. Sidesteps Martin. Kicks down towards full forward. In front, Sambrello takes a strong mark down there. Wanted to play on too.
Very nearly.
Mark Sambrello. Been around the club for quite a few years down at South. The kick isn't a good one. Stockley's in front. Edwards tries to knock it on. Fong does very well with the body, enabling McKelgic to get a kick towards half forward. Missed by Dempsey Narkle. Chance for Sambrello. He slips over. Now a chance for Stockley. Stockley is well tackled by Sambrello. West Perth have got the numbers. Buick arriving on the scene. He's surrounded, penalised for holding the ball.
West Perth showing intelligence in their forward line.
Short one comes across from South Fremantle to Moscone. Now Moscone will get 15 metres.
Yes, they gave away the free kick for holding the ball then because they were trying to do something constructive with it.
Moscone towards centre field. Laidley the leaper. Managlio almost. Laidley back into the fray. He's playing very well. Comes out to Warwick. Warwick falls over though. Carter a chance. McKelgic arriving at the rate of knots. Winmar's got it now for South. Winmar in towards half forward. Stevens in best position for West Perth. Storming out is Arnold. Claimed him to. Hand pass to Suter. Dragged off the kick by Dorotich. It's into open space. Laidley leads in the race. He's got it at left half back. John Wynne's done well putting him on a half-back flank. Laidley kicks towards centre wing. Gathered nicely on the half volley by Moscone. Gets it to Edwards. Edwards untidy back towards Moscone. Moscone close to the boundary line. Could have been pushed in the back there. No free kick. It spills around the boundary. Laidley picks it up. League footy stops. Looks across field. Punched away by Carter. In close attendance there is Buick. Close to the boundary line they scramble. It comes to Rogers. Rogers feeds a hand pass looking for Bell. On the burst grandstand side coming out of the pocket is Cutler, but the kick has too much carry and bounces out of bounds.
Well, South are still lacking method in their forward line, and whereas West Perth are trying desperately to get the ball back in front of goals, South Fremantle are still very haphazard down that forward of the centre.
Bergona snaps on goal.
What?
Miracle goal, Benny Bergona.
Unbelievable.
Superb goal by Bergona on the left foot, and he does it too often.
See, they've got some talent in this side. Look at him on the left foot, on the wrong side. The ball screwing the wrong way, so it's got to be deadly accurate. And it was a magnificent knock from the ruck then from Stephen Michael. Possibly the best boundary ruckman in the state, Stephen Michael. Positions himself magnificently, and it was he that got it down to Benny Bergona. You saw the magic goal. Possessions, times forward of the centre, West Perth 5 and South Fremantle their minutes, of course.
Back in the centre, there's the bounce. Up they go. It's one forward by Edwards. Here's a chance for Warwick. Well done, Warwick. Will settle on the left foot. Comes to the grandstand side with a high floating kick. Mount is up, fisting it forward. Managlio is there. Matera battling with Fong. This is Vasoli. Vasoli hooks it inside half forward. Coming out strongly down there was, well, free kick is going to Arnold. I thought the West Perth player initially was in front. That was Heath Suter. But Arnold's getting the free kick. In the opinion of umpire Hearn, Arnold was being held. So Paul Arnold, about 30 metres out.
Have another look at this, Dennis. Arnold appeared to come from behind, didn't he?
And he's got the footy, and I suppose that's what counts. Arnold kicks and misses.
Well, I suppose that's justice. I don't think the free kick was really warranted on the replay, and maybe it was worth a point.
Scores a level. In fact, South are a point in front. 3-3 to 3-2. Managlio misses the ball. Taken by Matera to Dorotich. Dorotich kicks and misses yet again. So Dorotich has missed a couple of reasonably easy ones. He's a class player. It's unlike him.
Seem very casual in their approach, South Fremantle. The desperation needed to win league games, not quite there. The method in their forward line, not quite there, even though they've had a pretty big percentage of the play for mine.
Heath Suter, league debut. Stevens the target, but Dorotich doing very well at centre half forward, drifts across in front of Stevens to take the mark. Now Dorotich would be 50 metres out. That breeze, as we mentioned at the outset, not a factor. It's going across the ground. John Dorotich played state football last season. Kick is on its way. A high kick they'll contest on the kickoff line. Big pack into the air. Cutler and Bell both converge on the ball for West Perth, both with the same idea. And they got it there across the boundary line. Throw in. Rogers against Michael. Michael works his way to the front. Clean possession. Kicks it goal. And it bounces through. Well, Stephen Michael has played so much football. Has Sandover medals by the gross. And this is why. Young and experienced man against him.
Takes the front posse. Takes the ball cleanly. And I don't know whether he tried to kick the ball with that type of spin on it or not, but he kicked it almost straight along the ground with top spin on the ball. And, of course, when you do that, it does go very straight. I don't know whether Stephen Michael went to do that, but was certainly effective. But, again, displaying his great skill on the boundary throw-ins.
One forward by Edwards this time. Dorotich is in front, fumbles the ball. Stevens with a chance, can't pick it up, held without it. No free kick, play goes on. Benny comes out with it. There's going to be a bounce.
He's got a real attack of the fumbles today as John Dorotich. He could have been best man on the ground at this stage, but he's fumbled 3 or 4 times when in good position.
Bounce down. The attacking side of centre for South Fremantle. Laidley tries to get it across to Gastiff. He left without it. Benny began it through the pack, surrounded by West Perth players, one of whom picks it up. That's Stevens. Gets a hand pass across towards the big fellow. It was Stockley. McAlgic now. High towards half forward. It's all South Fremantle at the fall of the ball, and Little has paid a mark.
Anticipated the mark.
That's the umpire, not Little.
The umpire.
I suppose he did too. Can't mark it if you don't anticipate it's coming. Ball on the outer side. This is Gastiff. Left foot into no man's land. Out of bounds on the full. Rod Griliusic on the outer side. 2 very talented left footers opposed out there. Griliusic to half forward. Dorotich. And he's proving a handful for young Mark Stevens, who's played most of his football as a forward. Dorotich given 15 metres, but he plays on. Arnold, too tall. Paul Arnold only about 25 metres out. In one sense is now that South are getting their act together.
Yes. And the beautifully positioned kicks coming in then. One from Griliusic to Dorotich. And then Dorotich setting it up very nicely for Paul Arnold. And just having too much height for young Suter and dragging it in over the top. He's shooting from what, about 20 metres out. They certainly wouldn't be happy with their goal shooting. We saw Dorotich miss just a couple of minutes ago from point blank, and now we see Arnold has missed twice in this quarter from pretty close in.
Set shots inside 50 metres for goals. West Perth 1 in 2. And look at South Fremantle's return.
1 in 5.
Yes, that tells you something. Ball on the outer side. South Fremantle missing their opportunities. Mosconi is out there battling hard for the ball. Vasoli, clever hand pass. At close quarters, he got it to Carter. Carter over the top. Tapped on by South Fremantle close to the boundary line. In there is Gastiff. And Gastiff is claimed by Mosconi across the boundary line. Will have a throw in. Clever tap on by Della. Trying to do the right thing.
It appears that West Perth have got to look at making a change, doesn't it? The centre half back.
Matera looking for Carter. Leaves the ball alone. Vasoli surrounded and penalised. Now Brendan Bell from defence for West Perth, kicking towards the outer side. Jostling contest out there. Bad luck for Bradmore. He did the hard work, but the ball bounced unkindly for him.
He's back in there.
Mount goes in. Does Bradmore? Yes, he does too. And Mifka's in there as well. Mifka emerges with the ball, but there's going to be a bounce.
Number 3 to bounce it.
Yes, umpire Salis. Umpires are numbered this year. That's just to make sure you don't abuse the wrong one. This is Bradmore. Bradmore gets it across to Sims. Sims left half forward, swings it back looking for McAlgic. McAlgic marks, and there's a South Fremantle player down. I didn't see what happened to him. That's Martin. He was guarding Kickett closely and appeared to twist a leg as he went to ground. Meantime, West Perth have kicked it behind. So West Perth 4-3, trailing South Fremantle 4-5. Sam Braylow in short. Noel Carter is really working hard for South, has got the ball, a little indecisive. Now he chips it looking for Little. Well, Little backed himself far too strongly to get that ball. He should have stayed on his feet and took the bouncing ball. But as it is now, South still with a chance. Bergona tripped. We'll get a free kick. No need for that dive from Little, Keith. Stay on his feet and gather it on the bounce.
That's right.
Little kicking.
You're no good laying on the ground. You've got to be on your feet to be effective.
This is Bell. West Perth moving into open space. Buick, wide centre wing. Now towards half forward, and Fong arriving on the scene. Amoroso, Bradmore, too much pace for Mount. Still it's Bradmore. Well played, looks in field. There's a lead on short, and he finds Sims.
I love their method. I love West Perth's method. They're obviously being coached to get the ball into the centre of the ground when going forward towards the goals. They've been told how vital that area is between centre half forward and full forward. And every time they've gone forward, they've tried to drop it into that area.
Well, Sims misses.
He shouldn't have missed.
No, he normally doesn't.
No. But Dennis, it's a good method, isn't it? Because every time they're shooting a goal, they're shooting from right in front. And really, players should be converting a lot better than they are.
Ball to the outer side. It's running free behind the pack. This is Mosconi of South Fremantle. Chips it in looking for Vasoli. And he's linking them up pretty well in midfield, Paul Vasoli. Wants to get on with it. Does now. This is Della. Della at right half forward. A little indecisive. Goes infield. Bairstow is on the ground. Gets a hand pass across to Mosconi. Mosconi from inside 50 metres goes long on goal. Jostling down there. Off hands. Ball trickles across the boundary line. Will have a throw in left full forward pocket for South. Good transference of play by South around the outer side. And Warren Mosconi looking good in his role as a ruck rover, combining well with Vasoli. Both of whom are ruck roving off that half forward flank and getting plenty of possessions. Bell to Warwick. Warwick out of bounds on the full.
Not happy about using the right foot on that occasion and brought himself off balance. He's covering some ground is Spock.
Kick into the forward line, off hands. Stockley gets a hand pass across towards Cutler. And Cutler goes in short to Gastiff. South leading by 7 points, 29-22. 4-5 to 3-4. Gastiff on centre wing. In front down there was Mount. Bradmore battling. Bradmore looking to get it across to Warwick. Winmar is in there for South Fremantle. Still it's Winmar. Well tackled by Kickett. Managlio emerges with the ball. He was taken high. And Managlio will get a free kick, will he?
Certainly.
I think he should.
Puts his mouth guard back in.
Buick shows plenty of courage. Amoroso. Back comes Buick brilliantly. Gaster surrounded to Sims. Sims, long kick towards full forward off target. It bounces out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
A bit of a box on down there. Well, it was about to be. They're all shaping up. But I was just going to say, Dennis, that the Buicks are obviously going to play an important part in West Perth's season. They're showing good early season form.
Yes. Great to see Corrie back in touch. Showed a lot of courage in the initial instance to dive there at the feet of the oncoming South player and then win the ball a second time. Forward of the pack, Amoroso, a hurried kick out of defence for South Fremantle. It's all West Perth. Corrie Buick, the man we're talking about on the boundary line, goes in short. Gaster.
Watch the middle of the ground.
And 15 metres to Les Fong.
I don't think he'll miss from there, but again, that pattern of play is evident. As soon as the West Perth player Gastiff had the ball in the forward pocket, I immediately looked to the centre of the ground, as you did. You called Fong, and that's the way it went. And no doubt this is one of John Wynne's methods of coaching, and I agree with it.
Les Fong, what a great servant he's been for West Perth. Having said that, he almost missed. He serves them well again. West Perth 4-4, South Fremantle 4-5, so the Bulldogs by a point.
Who's that goal umpire down there? Do you know him, Dennis?
Well, the shadow did seem to be on the post, but I ain't saying nothing.
Anyway, Les Fong has snuck it in. And when you start looking at the two Buick boys, Corrie and Darren, and then throw Les Fong in, and that gives West Perth a very smart roving combination. Now I see Fong and Darren Buick are both in the middle of the ground there. The rucking will be in the hands. Who's that? Rogers or
Stockley.
Stockley in the middle of the ground. McKeljic. Edwards for South.
Edwards over the top, but Stockley wins it. Taken by Mifka. Going nowhere is Mifka. Fong out wide to Laidley. South playing pretty lazy football at the moment. Laidley comes across towards centre half forward. Missed by Bradmore. Taken by Winmar. He kicks towards half forward. High bounce. Matera knocks it on.
Done.
First back on the ball will be Dorotic. Dorotic is kicking at goal, hasn't been good. This one's with the wrong foot, hooks it back towards the kickoff line. Siren sounds. West Perth perhaps saved by the bell. South Fremantle lead at quarter time, 4-5-29. West Perth 4-4-28. Goal scorers for West Perth in that quarter: Corey Buick, Les Fong, Michael Stockley and John Gastev. And for South Fremantle, singles all, Winmar, Vagona, Grilicic and Michael. So a good start by West Perth. They bounced out quickly. South Fremantle steadied, probably had the best of the middle part of the term. And then West Perth again coming back strongly to finish the quarter as they started. So, as I mentioned, quarter time, South Fremantle by a point. With his thoughts and his best players, Keith Slater.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, an interesting quarter of football, and I didn't think the pace was as fast as maybe I expected. The conditions are very warm out there today, but they've been warmer, and I just expected a bit more desperation, certainly from South Fremantle. I thought South Fremantle were very lethargic in their approach to the game. They seemed to be going about half pace. They weren't keen on taking clean possession of the ball. They were quite happy to be knocking the ball on, and maybe this is one of Don Haddow's instructions to them. But it looked pretty slap-hazard out there as they went forward. They wasted many opportunities, and there didn't seem to be the desperation that we expect from a side badly needing to win for their new coach. They've got enormous talent out there, South Fremantle, and it's disappointing for mine to see them not really putting the effort in that is needed. They put it in every now and then, but not consistently for the 25-30 minutes of the quarter. West Perth, they're lacking a little in the skills department compared to South Fremantle, but the desperation is there, and we saw that from their back line, and they consistently put South under pressure. South having many opportunities, mainly through Dorotic. I thought he played a superb quarter. Dorotic could have been best man on the ground by panels of fencing, but when he was in good position to take marks or take clean possession, time and again he fumbled, and South came unstuck. And they only came unstuck, of course, because West Perth were very solid in their defensive activities. I thought the ruck duels in the centre were about equal. I thought that Rogers and Stockley held their own against South Fremantle. We thought that South would have an advantage there. And it was interesting that halfway through the quarter, or I suppose 10 minutes into the quarter, when Mifka appeared as though he was going to cut loose on the outer side of the ground, that Haddow was very quick to move Rod Grilicic across there. Now, Rod Grilicic had been giving South good drive on this grandstand flank, and as soon as he went across the other side, then the source of supply for West Perth dried up. Mifka stopped getting loose, and so Rod Grilicic got a few kicks himself. So he played a very good quarter for South Fremantle, both in sending South forward and, of course, the other in blocking Mifka, a very dangerous player, out of the game. So a good quarter that from Rod Grilicic. I think still that maybe West Perth have got to think very hard as to who they might have to put into centre half back if Dorotic continues in the form that he's in and really starts handling the ball cleanly. Stevens usually a forward playing in defence, and he found the game pretty tough. I thought the pluses for West Perth, of course, in that quarter were the Buick brothers, back in Darren playing his first game, and Corey Dennis, I think, playing for the first time since about 1982.
1982, yep.
It's great to see him back in the side. It's nice to see his brother, a Teal Cup player, Darren, in the side, and he's fitted into league football like a fish to water. He's played very well. Together with Les Fong, they gave West Perth great drive. And if South Fremantle don't get a bit more desperate, then West Perth could slug it out and win this game. I tipped South to win it. I thought they were the most talented side, but they've got to lift their game. They've got to lift their rating. They've got to realise that their new coach needs a lift. He needs a needle of confidence, and the players have got to give him that. So just running down the list, I thought for West Perth, Buick, the two Buicks, Fong. I thought Cutler did pretty well in the back line. Phil Bradmore battled manfully at centre half forward and did some good things. And Paul Mifka did very well on his wing until Rod Grilicic went across there. For South Fremantle, I thought Carter did. He worked hard in the middle. Wasn't as effective as he mostly would have liked to be. Moscone, not a bad performance as a ruck rover. I thought Vagona flashed in and out of the play, but generally South players were disappointing. The centre half forward, Dorotic, could have been their best player, but he fumbled too many balls for mine. And generally a good hard working effort from West Perth, a fairly slap-hazard quarter from South Fremantle.
So we start the second quarter. Back in 84, that's what they did. They'll need to do it again today, although the margin only slight. Out to Mifka, unattended on left centre wing. He comes down towards half forward. Bradmore on the lead, takes the mark in front of Mount. Bradmore playing good constructive football at centre half forward. 29 plays 28. South lead. Bradmore 50 metres out. There goes the Bradmore kick. Not a bad effort. They'll contest about 2 metres out. Off hands, scores a level. Just checking the stats on the first quarter. Dean Laidley, 6 kicks, 6 hand passes, 2 marks off a half-back flank. Darren Buick had 6 kicks. George McAlgic 5. Doug Sims 6 up forward. A lot of those sprayed about. Now South have got it on the outer side. Kick from Winmar in the direction of Bairstow. It's out of bounds once again. For South, Mosconi was busy. 7 kicks, 5 hand passes, 2 marks. Vasoli 5 kicks, 1 handball. Dorotich 5 kicks. Griljusic 5 kicks. Behind the pack, a chance for McAlgic. Pretty tight in there. McAlgic and Carter. Gee, they've played a lot of games between them. And a lot of good ones.
I think I missed Laidley in West Perth's best players, but when he went to a half-back flank in that first quarter, he did very well.
Bounce on the outer side, Rogers and Michael. Michael paddles it out wide. Still it's Michael. Carter now. South Fremantle on the break. Carter into attack. Dorotich. Well, he's had so many opportunities today, John Dorotich. Let's see what he can do this time. It's a long way out. Pops it into the path of Edwards. Edwards looks around, didn't go quite at the ball. Arnold a hand pass to Mosconi. Mosconi's 8th kick. Not one he'll care to remember. Out of bounds on the full.
I think Dorotich thinks he's playing at full forward. He's taking marks very easily and then wandering back in old-fashioned style and looking to where the goals are. I think a centre half forward has got to get the ball on a lot quicker than that.
Laidley to Buick. Corey Buick out wide to Warwick. Warwick will come back on his left side. From half back, Warwick kicks down towards half forward. That's a long kick. Well done by the South Fremantle defender there, fisting forward. And as a result, they'll bring it away round the outer side. The kick, not a particularly good one from Mickey Winmar, has put it out of bounds on the full. Kick back towards half forward for West Perth. Mount and Bradmore. Mount leads. Deflects it across towards Amoroso. Assistance coming now from Brett Little, rather. He breaks away with a couple of bounces. Kicks towards the outer side. Getting a fist to it out there with Stevens. Dorotich cleverly across towards Vasoli. Vasoli tries to knock it on. Didn't succeed. Della does. Gets it across towards Matera. Dogged work by Bell. Hand pass to Fong. Fong in trouble now. Michael right on his hammer. Fong told to play on. No. Free kick to stand. Les Fong forward of half-back. Sees McAlgic or Mifka. Kicks it straight to Griljusic, who is between the pair. Griljusic back towards half-forward Della. Della plays on. Runs through half-forward. No real pressure. Kicks on goal and puts it through. Goal to South. Costly mistake back in centre field by West Perth. South of 5-5. West Perth of 4-5.
Griljusic playing very well. Intercepting on the centre wing. And for the first time in the game almost, we saw South running the ball through their half-forward line. I've been critical of Dorotich for taking marks, going back, having his kick. But Dellar took the mark on that occasion, had no hesitation in going on, and the results were the positive ones and the ones South were looking for.
Back in the centre, Stephen Michael. Chance for McAlgic to bring it away. Does that. Hooking it deep. Offhand, Stockley, well tackled. This is Sambrelo, and Sambrelo kicks towards the outer side. From behind, Winmar, over the top of Managlio. South have got the numbers out there, but Managlio is fighting a gallant battle. He goes to ground. Eventually, Winmar wins it for South. Tries to soccer it across towards the support of Mount. Battling in there for West Perth is Buick, and Buick will get the free kick.
Bad teamwork there by South Fremantle. Player not shepherding when he should have.
So Corey Buick kicks towards half forward. The 15-metre penalty will take the ball back. And that's something they'll like to overcome. An average of about 24.5 points last year. Second quarter's bad for them. Things going pretty well for them early in this second quarter as McAlgic battles close to the boundary line. Has a word to say to Doug Sims. A misunderstanding. Throw in inside right half forward. Michael. At a second attempt, Carter cleverly down to Matera. Matera across towards Winmar. Vasoli lending support. Back towards Matera. Matera to Carter. Well, South deserved to lose this. Winmar's got it close to the boundary line. No one applying a shepherd, but Winmar with individual skill hooks it back towards half forward. And once again, Dorotich, the focal point, takes the mark, gets it back to Vasoli. Vasoli goes deep towards the pocket and Della takes the sliding mark. Now Della looking infield, nothing much on offer. Kicks across the ground, Laidley in best position, but Edwards is too tall.
He's a likely type, young Della. He's added a bit of bite to the South Fremantle side, and he's the one man that is moving very quickly and is very positive about his work. He's kicked the goal, and now he's set this one up for big Craig Edwards.
There's Edwards on the break. In fact, he kicks it goal and kicks it behind.
It's interesting, Dorotich, when he took the mark on that outer flank, Dennis, he almost reluctantly went for the handball on. And it's about time Haddow got the message out to him to say that the ball must go through that half-forward line much quicker.
Suter kicking towards the outer side. Dorotich fisting it forward. Chance for South Fremantle, but socked away by Buick intelligently. Winmar goes in. Winmar doing better now. Vasoli slides into his teammate. And South not having much fall their way at the moment. A lot of it of their own making. And we'll have a bounce down at centre half forward. 5-6 to 4-5, 26 degrees in the city. A gentle southwester just going across the ground. Not much, well, plenty happening in there actually, but not much to the advantage of either side, so the umpire will move in and bounce it down again. South by 7 points. Rogers wins it nicely down to Stevens, gets the hand pass across to Cutler. In turn he finds McAlgic. McAlgic kicks around the outer side, bounces just inside the boundary line and goes out of bounds. West Perth dropping their half-forward flanks very deep, giving Brad Moore plenty of room to run to the side, but they're losing the magic of kick it to a certain extent by doing that. But then again, Brad Moore compensating. He's doing very well. Now he's forced to do the ruck work. This will be nice. Michael wins it. Menaglio read it. Michael roving his own ruck work. He's playing very well for South. Bairstow, country recruit, overruns the ball, has ample time to go back and get it. Kicks towards half forward. Edwards is up in front. Ball hits the ground and Vasoli first to arrive for South. No support. All the South Fremantle players running away from Vasoli. They're just fanning out. That was pretty lazy football. As a result, West Perth able to go in and tie Vasoli up.
Well, they're looking for the ball to be knocked on. They've been doing it all day, and it's very ticky-touchwood football for mine.
West Perth again win it. That was Rogers, but taken by Della. High kick down towards full forward and Arnold. Coming through Matera. Could have been held without it. No free kick. Moscone snaps and misses. A behind. 5-7 South Fremantle. West Perth 4-5. It's hardly memorable football, but they're getting there.
Moscone, I'm sure, would have loved to have kicked the goal. One thing defenders like doing is kicking goals, and of course Moscone, a former defender for the state side.
Suitor to the outer side. Stevens was up, crashing his way through out there. Michael paddles the ball into the path of Della. He's met solidly. Now a chance for West Perth. Dean Warwick to the outer side looking for Menaglio in close attendance. South Fremantle. That was Martin coming down the ground. We'll have a throw in. A long way from us on the outer side. It's won forward by Rogers. Going through very solidly was Martin, but without the ball, and West Perth win it around the outer side. Corey Buick does well. Well-weighted kick to Bradmore. Bradmore centres the ball looking for Fong. Fong was interfered with, yes. Stood his ground behind the pack. That takes some courage.
Beautiful use of the body. Have another look at it here, but you watch Fong. Has no qualms about running back into the player and forcing the free kick. You saw the arm of Amorosi across the shoulder of Les Fong. He's got one in the leg also, but that won't worry him. He's had plenty of them in his playing days, and he'll shoot from 25 metres.
Les Fong steers through his second goal. Both his kicks have fallen away to the left. And that's the percentage of set shots in 50 metres that have resulted in goals. I think that's an interesting figure. West Perth would have been in less for a lot more, and South Fremantle, that is a disgraceful wastage. 17% of their set shots inside 50 metres have resulted in goals.
Yes, they really have wasted a lot of shots at goals, and of course Les Fong himself missed one from point-blank range up the other end of the ground. But West Perth, for mine, still looking the more desperate side out there.
They trail by 2 points. South of 5-7. West Perth of 5-5. Back in the centre. Rogers working hard for them. Gets it down decisively to Gastev. Gastev hooks it out towards right half forward. Bradmore and Little. Ball spills to Mount. He's claimed by a couple of West Perth players. Little comes back into the fray. Sells a dummy cleverly. Kicks across centre. Dorotic almost the mark. Mosconi tackled but kicks it into attack. Cutler a hand pass to no one in particular. Well, if you count Vasoli, I suppose. Vasoli on his knees. Brilliantly done, Menaglio. Menaglio goes to ground. Cutler's got it now. Cutler from half back wants too much time. Spills across to Stevens. Pushed off the kick. Too much carry for Noel Carter. He tried to get there and couldn't. This is Gastev on the outer side. Does it very leisurely. Goes around Carter. Looks for Doug Sims. And Sims takes the mark, despite the close attention of his marksman. Cuts infield. Narkle tries to smother the kick unsuccessfully. Down towards the square. Amoroso the leaper. Fong behind. Goal number 3.
There's Les Fong, the West Perth skipper. Thank you very much, he said. And just dribbled it through on the left foot. But a nice passage of play. Started by young Gastev out on that centre wing.
Good shepherd by Derek Kickett too.
Gastev getting around his marksman in Noel Carter on that occasion. He did it well, popped the ball over, and the ball finishing up with Les Fong, who made no mistake. Two goals in 2 minutes to Les Fong.
Indecisive stuff. McAlgic breaks away. Kickett. West Perth were down in that count earlier. They're coming back. McAlgic having a hand in it. Derek Kickett. What a likeable young man. And he comes. Let's see if he can make it good. Yes, he can. Straight through the middle. West Perth is 7-5 and South Fremantle are 5-7.
Well, not usually good second quarter team, West Perth, but they're starting to take control of this game. And they're getting a due reward for desperation and wanting to win the game very badly. South Fremantle, I said before, I believe have the more talented players out there. The desperation is missing. We saw a bit from Della when he came on the field. But now with the pressure on and some real effort needed, South are starting to fall by the wayside. And West Perth, they keep up this type of desperation, then they can finish up with a handy lead at half-time.
Back in the centre, Rogers looking for Fong. In goes Darren Buick. Looking for a kick, not forthcoming. Still Buick battles at the base of that pack. Vasoli was pushed in the back and he'll get a free kick.
Well. I thought there was a couple before that one, actually.
So Paul Vasoli beside the centre circle to send South forward. High kick inside half forward. Leaping down there was Arnold. Off hands. A chance now for Griliusic to kick his second, and he does. So a brace of goals to West Perth. Quick reply from Griliusic. South is 6-7. West Perth is 7-5. We've played 14 minutes here in the second term at Leederville Oval.
Yes, not a lot of good ruck play out in the middle there, with nothing really decisive coming out. But South Fremantle certainly can look good when they go forward and have the run of the ball. But they have wasted many opportunities, and there's a lot of players out there who've just got to work that much harder.
Stockley up on the ball now to oppose Michael. Michael has been very much a burst player today, Keith, hasn't he?
Yes.
Stringing 5 minutes together here and there. When he strung them together, he's gone pretty well. Too much this fancy Dan stuff from West Perth, or rather from South Fremantle, although this time they've got a chance. As the ball goes down towards the full forward pocket, socket off the ground by Bell towards the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. South Fremantle not wanting to take possession, looking to knock it on. Looks okay when it comes off, but on occasions it hasn't today. Chance for Fong behind the pack. Not much happening for him. Vasoli scrambles it down towards the pocket. Suitors in front, slung to the ground by Paul Arnold. Ball spills out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. In front Stockley, Edwards, clean possession, snaps, and it's a goal. So Edwards grabbing that ball. We've seen it happen a couple of times. Just take it out of the ruck and snap a goal. Michael did it once, and now Craig Edwards simply with strength.
Well, we're just starting to ride South off. They appeared to be falling by the wayside, but obviously that was the needle they needed to get them back into gear. They kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes and have forged their way to the front. And luckily for them, they got those goals because they were starting to look pretty lethargic just 5 minutes ago.
49 South, 47 West Perth. Michael again does it well. And forward they come once again, South Fremantle. Basoli. Kick not a particularly good one. A chance for Dorotic, taken high. And Dorotic will get a free kick. Now there's a South Fremantle player out there darting about, number 46. I've got no idea who he is. Certainly not O'Donnell. I think he was playing in the reserves. Here's Dorotic, no doubt about that. That's a kick. There goes the kick from Dorotic, and again he's off the mark. Out of bounds on the full. It might be Collard who's changed Guernseys, I'm not sure. 46 down in that forward pocket in the foreground there. McAlgic the target for this kick out of defence. Close to the boundary. Still McAlgic goes. Mifka, he'll come left side. Oops. Fairstone knew that too, and the ball spills out of bounds. Throw in. Edwards tries to flick it behind the pack. This is Matera. 50 metres out. Good effort by the little fellow. He hooks it back towards the kick-off line, almost the mark. Off hands. Della an attempt in mid-air. Kicks it through for a behind.
No, I don't know who that number 46 is.
7-8 South Fremantle, 7-5 West Perth. Suter kicks in. That's a good kick to the outer side. Stockley tries to knock it on. Taken by Michael. Kicks across field and Fong the clever mark. Les Fong at half back. Looks for Managlio. Winmar coming back on him. No mark taken. Gathered by Mount. He breaks away. Mount running towards half forward. Kicking across that line. And down there the leaper was Arnold. Off hands a chance now for Brendan Bell. Fong goes in. The hand pass to no one in particular, but he was taken high, so Les Fong will get the free kick down there.
Isn't he working hard in defence for West Perth?
Trailed by 3 points. Fong comes across the ground. Stockley was up. Michael crashing through now. Steve Michael has a bounce inside 50 metres. Long kick as it got the carry. Suter gets a hand to it and deflects it through for a behind.
2 of the most experienced players on the field lifting for their respective sides. Fong doing a power of work in defence for West Perth, and Michael lifting South Fremantle in the middle of the ground.
Fong is free. Gathers the ball from Suter's kick on the bounce. Kicks along the grandstand wing. Grisic leads Mifka in the race. Hand passes to his own advantage. Surely he was held. And Grisic will get the free kick. There's a slow whistle. Down towards Matera. He was indecisive going for it. There's the mystery man, number 46. And the ball's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Paul Mountain, the former South player, shrugs his shoulders. We'll find out. Eventually, tomorrow. Basoli kicks towards half forward. Mark taken by Brendan Bell. This is Suter. Suter from defence, kicking back towards centre field. Managlio leads in the race out there. Winmar is closing. Managlio and Winmar, 2 of the most gifted players in the league. Managlio falls over. Winmar's got it. Winmar in trouble. Play scrambles on around the outer side. Amoroso is out there. Still it's Amoroso. He's going to get a free kick. Tony Amoroso, left half back. Amoroso kicking high. In front, Dorotic, almost a fine mark. Stevens gets in his back. Dorotic to get the free kick. Well, that was bad luck for Mark Stevens, really. He was trying to get to the ball. It happened that Dorotic was in front of him. Certainly the kick was there. Dorotic into towards forward. Cutler. Well, he certainly got up. Smothered off Laidley's boot. Brendan Bell leads back in the race. In goes Laidley, but Brendan Bell to take the free kick. West Perth players 2-on-1 this side of the ground. It's put into the path of Suter, the fullback. Paul Arnold chasing aggressively and applies a good tackle too. No, too high.
Oh, dear.
That was a tough one. Heath Suter from left half back comes out towards the wing, and Fong, not the greatest mark in the world, the little fellow, but he battles on. Mosconi dexterously gets it across towards Grilisic. Grilisic down to the pocket, bounces kindly for 46. He hooks it back, and the mark is taken by Laidley.
The game's coming to life. A bit more desperation from both sides.
Sound like I'm reading the phone book. Here comes a kick from Laidley. Back along the grandstand wing. Mifka almost the mark. In comes Michael. Hit towards centre wing. Now, Paul Mountain has just indicated to me we think it's Hoddle, number 46. Doesn't he play for Chelsea? Not the same bloke. There goes the kick. Back into attack. From the side, the leaper down there was Stockley. Laidley's got it. In goes Matera. Still it's Matera. Matera fires on goal and steers it through for South. Well played. So Matera gets South Fremantle's 8. They're 8-9. West Perth is 7-5.
And South are starting to bounce back, and we're seeing them starting to move fast. The man who's motivated South and got them moving, there's Matera steering that one through, is Stephen Michael. He was playing in bursts, as Dennis Cometti said, coming in for 5 minutes, disappearing for 10. But for the last 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour, he's really got his act together. He's been charging through packs and working very hard, and the whole momentum of the South Fremantle side has picked up. Stephen Michael leading the way.
Back with umpire Hearn. 10 points the margin. South's way. Michael. Visoli. Clever use of the body before the ball arrived. He kicks it towards half forward. Hoddle will call him. In there with Laidley. Knocked on by Della. Taken by Carter. Grilisic. Down towards the pocket he goes. In front was Edwards. Chance for Bell. Socket off the ground by Bairstow. Taken by Arnold. Hoddle misses the ball. Cutler paddles it towards the boundary. Will have a throw in.
Dennis, do you get the feeling that if South can really apply pressure that they could take this game away from West Perth?
Yes.
The skill and the talent is there, but the effort hasn't been there up until about 10 minutes ago.
Full credit to West Perth. They're really getting return for effort. Everything they do is yielding a dividend, isn't it?
That's quite right. They've been the people that have been putting the big effort in. Desperate effort.
This is Warwick from Brendan Bell's kick. Not thinking about their football, some of the South players. Warwick always back onto that left foot. Managlio on the outer side was stripped. He'll get a free kick. Peter Managlio, last season's fairest and best winner for the Falcons. In short, not his normal standard of kick. Visoli has been very busy. Gives it to Winmar. In turn, he gives it across towards Carter. Kick it closing on him. Carter too nimble. Kicks it back. That's a well-weighted kick. Matera with courage. Takes the mark. A couple of West Perth players coming the opposite direction. Both bigger than he. Who wouldn't be?
He's lifted Matera in the last 10 minutes.
Matera goes long down towards full forward. Michael from behind. Up, couldn't take the mark. Comes again. Brilliant stuff, Stephen Michael. Snaps at goal. If this is a goal, it's not. Had it been, it would have been one of the best individual efforts you'd see. He was up against a man. There were two waiting down for West Perth. He came down and in effect beat the three of them, snapped at goal and kicked a point.
Hasn't he lifted in the last 10 minutes, Stephen Michael? He's really put a big effort in for the Bulldogs.
8-10 South, 7-5 West Perth, approaching time on. Second term, ball on the outer side. Winmar leads back in the race. Still it's Winmar. Well played, breaks away. Stockley's in pursuit, trying hard. Winmar in short. And the mark is taken down there by young Bairstow, about 40 metres out directly in front. So Bairstow, what can he do? Well, he can do pretty well. I think he's hit the behind at the goalpost rather. So like for South, it was dropping though, and I think West Perth may have been able to get a hand to it. Comerford coming on the ground, and Rogers is coming off. As South move to 8-11. West Perth is 7-5. Suter kicks to the outer side. Up with Stockley. Still he battles after the ball. Dorotic shrugs off Stevens' tackle. Kicks it long back into attack. Hasn't got the accuracy. It bounces out of bounds in the left full forward pocket. One senses the next 5 minutes or so, Keith, could be pretty vital in this game.
Well, always goals in time on are very, very important, but South have come back very strongly in this last quarter of an hour.
Taken by Suter, off the hands of the ruckman. The hand pass, not a good one. Centred now by Bairstow. Leading in the race here is little Matera, twisting and turning. No support for Matera. Hooks it back, but McAlgic read it well for West Perth, and he breaks away from defence, George McAlgic. Kicks it long back towards centre field. In from the side, almost the mark to Sims. Support was on. He elects not to handball. Wheels onto his left foot. The kick, not a good one. Oh, kick it. My word, he showed some courage there. He is oblivious to danger. He went back like a man in the catching court and just tried to grab the ball one-handed. Mosconi was behind him, and they fought a draw. Bradmore, clever use of the body, but South with weight of numbers. Mosconi kicks to the outer side, and once again, the two little men battle out there. Managlio and Winmar, close to the boundary line, will have a throw in. And that really is one for the purist out there. When the ball breaks free and they've got an even start, two marvellously gifted players. That time it beat them across the boundary line. Stockley wins it. Bradmore and Mount. Mount does well there for South Fremantle to tie it up.
They're having a pretty good tussle, those two.
Not the quickest fellows in the world.
No, but they're honest in their endeavours.
South Fremantle have done more of the attacking. I suppose in percentage terms that's relevant. But they lead by only 12 points. Stockley to no one in particular. South bring it away. Centre wing, Dorotich does well as he flicks it across to accommodate Della. Back it comes to Carter. Now South can make something of this as Carter goes in short. Too much carry for Bairstow. Read well by Bell. Bell kicks it back towards centre wing. Darren Buick misses the mark out there, and the ball beats he and Stephen Mount across the boundary line. It'll be pretty warm out there. I mentioned the temperature 26 degrees, but
humidity will be pretty high, Dennis.
Yes,
very muggy weather.
Not easy out there in the middle. Stockley opposed to Arnold, who's having a run on the ball. This is Mount, surrounded by West Perth players. And South have a reluctance to shepherd today. This is Fong. Keeps the ball in cleverly. Fong kicks across field, looking for Gaster. Knocked away from Sims, in fact. Gaster roving the pack. Hand pass to no one. Well, there's somebody on the end of it. Darren Buick, and he's taken high. Gaster read it better than I did. Mosconi, the offending player. Darren Buick deep in the pocket. And this young man has made a good impact on this game. Short, Bradmore. The South a little lazy still. I think, as Keith has been saying, they give you the impression they can perhaps burn West Perth off, but they're not thinking about it. That time, again, one could have almost bet money the ball would be centred, Keith, but no one getting onto it from South's point of view. Michael comes off, Pagona comes on as Darren Buick had set that up for Bradmore, and Bradmore makes no mistake. So West Perth 8-5, South Fremantle 8-11.
Well, the former West Perth full forward has struggled very hard today. He's had an honest opponent in Stephen Mount. In fact, there's been one of several very good duels around the ground. I'd say honours about even. If I had to go one way or the other, I'd say Bradmore would slightly be shading Mount, even though Mount has done some good work for South Fremantle. We've seen other good duels on both the wings, where Grulisic has done superbly on Mithka, and now Winmar and the talented Managlio are opposed. That's also a good duel.
Stockley opposed to Arnold. Fong at the base of the pack. Knocked out by Della, but Fong is there playing a wonderful game now. His second quarter has been an inspiration. Amoroso and Bradmore. McAlgic cleverly to Gaster. Gaster looking for support. Goes down towards the pocket. Into the path of Sims. Will it bounce kindly for him? Yes, it does. Sambrelo applies a strong tackle. Spills back towards Mosconi. Hand pass comes to Sims from Comerford. Kick it deep in the pocket. Trying to keep it back. Can't. And we'll have a throw in. West Perth looking quite lethal when they get players in the open. Throw in left full forward. 8-11 to 8-5. South in front. Mosconi, busy player. High kick. Bradmore in front of Arnold. Neither could mark. Arnold cleverly into the path of Bairstow. Bairstow pushed off the kick. Still he goes. Out to Della. Della is in need of support, but does it well alone. Della has a bounce. Kicks it high towards half forward. Dorotic and Stevens. Dorotic up, couldn't take the mark. Will recover best though. Still it's Dorotic as the half-time siren sounds. So at half-time, South Fremantle 8-11, lead West Perth 8-5. 59-53. Checking goal scorers for South Fremantle. 2 to Rod Griliusic and singles to Della, Winmar, Bagona, Edwards, Stephen Michael and Matera. And for West Perth, 3 to Fong and singles to Buick, Bradmore, Kickett, Stockley and Gastiv. So South, who led by a point at quarter time, have stretched their lead now. It's out to 6 points, but an interesting first half, although the standard hasn't all that high. Let's go to Keith Slater now and get his thoughts on this first half.
Well, an interesting first half of football where I thought South were quite haphazard. In fact, halfway through that quarter, I thought they were in danger of being left behind by West Perth, who were lacking on the score of talent against South Fremantle, but their desperation and their desire to win the game, I thought, was greater than South Fremantle. South were cruising. They had many good players, but they really weren't giving it. They were just cruising at about half speed and generally weren't firing at all well. And at halfway mark of that quarter, I thought that West Perth might have got away with it because South were not looking like they wanted to work very hard. But Stephen Michael came onto the ball, and I thought he played superbly for South. He lifted the whole side. He went into the ruck. He started charging through packs, winning the ball himself, setting it up for other players, and many of the players around him, especially Wally Matera, caught on, and South started to fire, and they got back into the game. They picked up the 2 goals deficit they had and worked their way themselves to a 2-goal lead, and they then looked like going on with the game very strongly. However, once again they slackened off. West Perth stuck to their guns. I thought they defended very well. Les Fong led them brilliantly. He did most of his best work in defence, and it was he that knitted up the defence and kept South out time and time again. The kicking at goal of both sides was poor. In fact, South missed, I think they converted something about 17% of set shots, and that certainly is not good enough. And one of the main offenders was John Dorotic. Now, he played superbly, and really he cut young Stevens to pieces, but he wasn't a real effective player for South Fremantle because he fumbled too many marks, and then when he did take the mark, he went back casually and just put his boot into the ball. Nothing really constructive for South, and it made it very easy for the West Perth defence to break it up. I thought that he should have been getting the ball on a lot more quickly, especially when he was too far out to score a goal, and on most occasions he was, but he was still a very classy player and could have been a lot better. I thought there were some very good duels around the ground. I thought Bradmore and his opponent Stephen Mount had a good duel. Bradmore at centre half forward worked very hard. He roamed far and wide. He was going from one side of the ground to the other, and in fact he was rushing down into the half back line to getting on someone's mark, thus allowing another player to go into defence. And he's a real team man, Phil Bradmore. He had a good duel with Stephen Mount, who I thought played and was an effective player for South Fremantle, but Bradmore just shading him. We had good duels on the wings. I thought Rod Griliusic did extremely well. He was shifted on to Mithka halfway through the first quarter, and from then on we didn't see too much of Mithka, and Griliusic continued to be a very good player, a very effective player for South Fremantle. And on the other wing we had the likes of Winmar and the very talented Managlio opposed, and that was a great duel. But a quarter where the players were feeling their way. They're both playing under new coaches. They're both trying to implement the methods of their new coaches, and one method that South Fremantle obviously have been asked to involve themselves in is to tap the ball on, and I thought maybe they would have been far better in taking full possession of the ball and doing something more constructive with it, but obviously they've been instructed to tap it on in the forward line, and West Perth have been instructed obviously to get the ball off the flanks and get it back into that position between centre half forward and full forward and give themselves a chance of kicking goals and not points. So it's interesting to see the methods of both sides. Just looking at best players for the respective sides, I thought for South Fremantle, Michael, who lifted strongly after playing a stop-start game in the first quarter and a half. Griliusic, Dorotic, Mosconi and Carter in the centre of the ground. For West Perth, none better than Fong, Bradmore, Cutler and Laidley.
Paul Mountain is with us just briefly. Paul, you've been associated with both these sides. I would imagine both new coaches would be pretty happy with what their young players are doing out there at the moment.
Yes, Dennis, I'd agree with you entirely. I think the way the young guys, especially in the West Perth side, have fitted in the back line. Dean Laidley especially is showing out very, very well at the moment. Heath Suter, though he's not not doing a lot. South Fremantle full forward hasn't kicked a lot of goals either, so he's doing his job quietly, and Brendan Bell in the back pocket is also playing well for West Perth. And South, on the other hand, they're younger guys coming into the team. I think their overall running power is what probably supplying them, getting them more possession of the ball and causing a lot of trouble with West Perth. Just something for Keith too on the percentage of kicking for goals. I think the West Perth coach John Wynne would be pretty happy with the methods he's employed so far this year, because West Perth have kicked out of 10 shots from 50 metres inside the 50-metre square, they've managed to score 6 goals. So they've got a 60% conversion rate in comparison to 12.5% conversion rate of South Fremantle. So the skill aspect that he's working on is certainly paying dividends at the moment.
Yes, those set shots standing West Perth in pretty good stead at the moment. Districts, East Fremantle 10-7, Swans are 4-8. East Perth, this could be a dated score, lead Claremont 4-7 to 2-6, and Subiaco 10-8, leading Perth 8-5. So East Fremantle leading by just under 6 goals. East Perth in front by 13 points, and Subiaco in front by 15 points. Results from the VFL: Geelong 28. Defeated Hawthorn 14-16. The Swans in an upset 26-20 at Moorabbin defeated St Kilda 8-18. Footscray in something of a surprise, but their practice match form has been quite outstanding. Footscray, they won 22-10 to Carlton 17-10. Melbourne 28, Fitzroy 14-18. And Essendon 21-11, Richmond 18-12. And just a reminder, you can see the best quarter from that game, Essendon-Richmond. It looks like it was a pretty good one, 21-11 to 18-12, tonight on ABC television, commencing at 6 o'clock. Checking the stats in this game, South Fremantle's principal kick-getter, Warren Moscone, 11 kicks, 2 marks, 6 hand passes. Looking down the list, Paul Basoli, 9 kicks, 2 marks, 3 hand passes. Rod Griljasic, 8 kicks, 1 hand pass, playing on a wing. Wally Matera, 7 kicks, 5 handballs, 1 mark. John Dorotic, 9 kicks, 4 marks, 2 hand passes at centre half forward. Noel Carter, 5 kicks, 3 marks, 6 handballs. For West Perth, Fong, 11 kicks, 4 hand passes, 3 marks. Bell, 9 kicks, 6 hand passes. Laidley, 9 kicks, 6 hand passes. Corey Buick, 8 and 3. Darren Buick, 7 and 2. Managlio, 6 and 3. And Dean Warwick has had 8 kicks on his centre wing. Doug Sims, 8 kicks, 3 hand passes on a half forward flank. South Fremantle now having a little powwow before we start this second half. Warren Moscone, playing his 50th game today, has probably been their best player. So, stage set for what should be an interesting second half. The standard not particularly high, as we told you in that first half, but players of both sides on occasion showing flashes of teamwork and brilliance. And the closeness of the scores has kept everybody here at Leederville Oval pretty enthusiastic and interested. There's Peter Managlio, his duel with Winmar, one of the highlights of the first half. Umpire Salis with the ball. South Fremantle kicking to the northern end, the Tech School end, on what is a pretty warm day in Perth. Temperature in the mid-20s now, and the breeze still going across the ground. Stephen Michael and Noel Carter, 2 of the South Fremantle veterans. We start the second half. South Fremantle leading by 6 points. Stephen Michael with a chance to send them forward. This is Griljasic. He's already kicked 2 goals. Has a bounce, running towards half forward. Long kick, telling kick. Will clear the players down there. Suited diving. Gets fingertips to it. And it's through for a behind. So South smartly away from centre there. South 8-12. West Perth 8-5. And Heath Suter debuting today for West Perth. Young man. Former member of the Teal Cup team. Comes grandstand side, almost the clever mark to Winmar. Soccering off the ground. This is Rogers in pursuit. Can't gather the ball in. The big fellow, number 23. It's out of bounds. Will have a throw in. Michael and Rogers. As you can see, he's a burly customer. And he's interested where Stephen Michael is. This is Bairstow for South Fremantle infield. Warwick draws a man and goes to McAlgic. Carter is closing on him. McAlgic, hurried kick towards half forward. Gastav coming across for West Perth, but Griljasic arrives first. Gets it back towards Narkle. Narkle slipped over. Scrambly play on the outer side. Sims in there for West Perth. Knocked on by Sims into open space. Almost a wrestling match in that pursuit of the ball. Gastiff and Narkle crashing into the pack there and showing plenty of desperation was Damon. Moscone gets the intelligent hand pass out though, sending Brilisic away. He's well tackled by Sims. Now Corey Buick with a chance. Buick goes long down towards full forward, jostling down there. Was it interference? Not according to the umpire. Sam Braylow could have gotten to the back of Stockley. Or was it Comerford? Wasn't paid in any case, and Sam Braylow breaks away. This is Menaglio looking for Fong. Coming to meet the ball, Sam Braylow paddles it back towards the boundary. In the shadows of the stand, Matera does well. Sam Braylow dives on top of the ball, trying to get it on and can't. It was well tied up by Peter Menaglio. And well played by Sam Braylow. He came a long way down the ground to get involved. Rogers battling, takes Michael too high. Michael shovels it to Vasoli, out wide to Winmar. Winmar and Warwick. Still it's Winmar, close to the boundary line. Warwick staying with him. Brilliant stuff, Nicky Winmar. Too much pace, shocking kick. Down towards the pocket. Chance for South Fremantle now. Della is flung across the boundary. Holding the ball, the decision. Brendan Bell will take the kick. Nicky Winmar's got some pace.
Great duel, him and the young man Warwick. Look at that.
Back to the action, Les Fong carted forward to take the free kick.
Interesting to note that Damon is on a wing playing on Brilisic. Wayne Damon, former back pocket player.
Les Fong high towards centre wing. Off hands. Winmar now. Tackled. Again, no support from South Fremantle. Fong claimed from behind by Michael too high. And Fong will get the free kick.
Michael standing on the mark. He's needed downfield. That's one of the mistakes South make consistently, having one of their top players standing on the mark. We don't see West Perth doing that.
There's Les Fong earning that free kick. Fong kicks grandstand side. A brilliant mark is taken there by Gastiff. John Gastiff, right centre wing for West Perth, kicking towards their half forward line. South in number down there. This is Narkle, Matera, Amoroso. From half back, Amoroso kicks towards centre wing. Warwick from behind, tried to fist it away. Rogers, tackled by Michael. Fong, who's been brilliant, gets it across to Warwick. Warwick on the left foot towards half forward. Menaglio, Kickett. He's in trouble, Kickett, surrounded by South players. Dragged off it by Moscone. Still he battles Kickett, and umpire Hearn calls for the ball. 4 minutes played, third term, and South lead by 7 points. Players happy for some shade. Out of bounds, we'll have a throw in.
I'm going to keep it in the shade for a while too. Little tap out of bounds.
8-12, 8-5. Michael wins it forward. Bradmore goes long into the forward line. Sam Braylow coming up to meet it. He's outnumbered, but support comes from Little. Across the face of the ground, into open space. Foot race. It's out of bounds, doesn't matter. Brilisic and Damon are out of the blocks out there. Throwing out his side. Narkle doing the ruck work and wins it forward for South. Damon in pursuit, out of bounds. 5 minutes played, third term. Always a vital quarter. Quite often the tempo falls away immediately after half time. This is Matera to Vasoli. Vasoli kicks long towards centre half forward. Dorotic, who's been the mainstay of their attack, couldn't mark that time. Vergona, who's been quiet, surrounded, pops it across looking for support, and the mark is taken inside 25 metres by Bairstow. I think his target wasn't Bairstow. In fact, it might have been Della out wide, but not to worry. Bairstow with a chance to convert. Kicks truly for South Fremantle, bringing up their 9th goal. South Fremantle 9-12 and West Perth are 8-5.
Looks to have good skills, young Bairstow. Mark Bairstow has the opportunities. There are few opportunities he's had today. He appears to handle the ball pretty well, kicks it well. That's him, number 4. And a nice piece of play there by Benny Vergona. He's been quiet today, but he sorted Bairstow out very nicely on his left foot then, and was able to set up a badly needed goal for South Fremantle. It just appears to me now to be a bit more desperation in South Fremantle. West Perth continue to be desperate, and this could develop into a very good game of football.
Back in the centre, Rogers and Michael. Bounce from umpire Hearn. Rogers clean possession. Kicks towards the half-forward line, and the mark is taken down there by Sims. Clever mark, used his body very intelligently. He's had a lot of kicks on his half-forward flankers, Doug Sims, but has wasted a few of them. He can kick the ball a long way, as evidenced here. They'll contest in the kick-off area. Forward of the pack, a chance for Buick. Matera arrives on the scene. Buick in all sorts of trouble. Taken high, he'll get the free kick. Was one of the finest snapshots for goal in the league prior to breaking down in 1982, Corey Buick. Set shots normally don't worry him at all. He can bring West Perth 6 points closer here. I think he's missed. He has. They needed that one. 8-6 to 9-12. 7-minute mark, third term.
Well, West Perth's turn to miss a few goals, and Buick is showing signs of snapping back to his very best form. Certainly doesn't lack any courage.
Spiral punt to the outer side from Sam Braylow. This is Stephen Michael for South Fremantle at right half back. Pops it across to accommodate Matera. He's on right centre wing. Wally Matera spears the ball towards half forward, and Dorotich, who takes the sprawling mark. He's been too agile for Stevens today. Hand pass bounces to Vasoli. Forced to kick with his right foot, not his best foot. Bairstow and Warwick, and there's going to be a bounce.
Well, it looks like Dorotich is going to endeavour to get the ball on a bit quicker. There's evidence in this third quarter.
Bounce down, Rucks go to it. Knocked on by Cutler for West Perth. It's out of bounds. 9-12 South Fremantle, 8-6 West Perth. Clean possession there to Rogers, who's doing pretty well. Feeds the ball out wide to Laidley, who was a star in the first term with 12 possessions. This is Damon, who started the game on the interchange bench. Looking for Gastiff. Storming through is Michael. Strength by the big fellow. Michael down towards full forward. Coming out is Edwards. And that's a classic solo performance by Stephen Michael. Short one is on, and the mark is taken only about 15 metres out from goal by Bairstow. So Bairstow, who kicked their last goal, a chance to register another. Bairstow pops it through. South Fremantle at 10-12. West Perth are 8-6.
And South Fremantle looking a lot more desperate now, and Stephen Michael has really lifted his game. He's one man out there that really wants to win the game. And wouldn't it be a wonderful thing for WA football, Dennis, if he was to snap back to his very best? He had a low season for him last year, but today he's putting a lot of effort into his work, and things are starting to come right for him. He's starting to win the ball. He's starting to hang on to the ball just that fraction longer in an endeavour to do something constructive with it. And we saw big Craig Edwards sorted out then after Stephen Michael had burst through the pack, and Edwards used it well over the young Bairstow, who kicks his second goal for the quarter.
There's the bounce. Indecisive stuff. It's knocked on by Della. Taken by Warwick. Warwick kicks out wide. Bradmore on a lead. Ball bounces obligingly for him. Bradmore long down towards full forward. In front down there, Comerford, fisted away. Buick a chance, pops it over the top, and the mark will be taken 10 metres out.
No.
Sims played on. Fong's got it now, and he scrambles a goal. Well, not the easiest way to get them. Doug Sims wanting to play on. Here's Corey Buick unselfishly across the top. Now watch this.
Corey Buick, he must have felt his heart palpitating there as Doug Sims tried to play on up after he drove so brilliantly. A brilliant piece of roving by Corey Buick. I said earlier in the quarter he's starting to snap back to his very best, and that was classical roving, reading the ball off hands and setting up the West Perth goal.
Rogers and Michael. It's one down by Rogers. McAlgic dragged off the kick. Griliasic has got it now. 72 plays 60. South lead. Onto their half-forward line. Matera battling with Bell. Still they go. Stevens is in there. Dorotich two for South Fremantle. Matera breaks away just as the whistle sounds. Dorotich doing the ruck work now. Gets it down to Vasoli. Laidley.
Got him.
Oops. Dragged off the ball well. Now Della. Snapshot on goal.
That's a good kick.
Is not a bad effort. Just missed. Young Merv Della grabbing it, throwing it onto the left foot. Just to the wrong side.
Definitely a more desperate game of football now, and I think what's happened, Dennis, is that the players have shrugged off all these specific coaches' instructions and are just getting on with the job of playing football.
Winmar from behind. 10-13 South, 9-6 West Perth. Nicky Winmar in the shadows. Goes long towards full forward. Whoop, hit the post. Another one. But one of them. 10-14, 9-6. Brendan Bell to Suter, the fullback. On a run to half back. Suter kicks towards centre wing. Mifka is out there with Griliasic. Now Damon's got it. Damon a hand pass to Carter. Carter tries to get it across to Della. Della cleverly. This is Griliasic. Griliasic on the left foot, high out towards full forward. And the ball is drifting towards the boundary line. In fact, it brought up the chalk. So luckily for South, we'll have a throw in. Mifka is off the ground. I think I mentioned him in that last passage of play. Of course, Damon out there in his stead at the moment. This is Warwick wide of the pack. Warwick, a little indecisive. Cutler's got it now. Cutler at right half back. High towards centre wing. Bradmore and Mount. Bradmore does well to work his way to the front and is rewarded. Wants to go on. Good shepherding by Kickett. Now Kickett and Mount get involved behind the play as Bradmore sends it towards half forward and Sims. Sims gets it across to Managlio, who sold himself into trouble really by calling for that ball. And now Winmar will bring it away.
Oh, good football.
Michael on centre wing. Stephen Michael kicks long towards half forward. Under the ball with Stevens. Bell gets a hand pass across to Darren Buick. Short to Kickett. Kickett plays on. Gets a hand pass across to Rogers cleverly. Rogers, not a particularly good kick towards half forward. This is Narkle. Narkle bumped off the ball well by Sims. In goes Little. This is McAlgic to Kickett. He made up a lot of ground at Kickett. Feigns a hand pass back to McAlgic. Then goes over the top to Fong. Goal number 5. He's put it through.
Brilliant football by the West Perth skipper. He's brought up his 5th goal, 2 in a row in this quarter. And West Perth are starting to answer the challenges from South Fremantle. South Fremantle are trying to apply pressure now, certainly applying more pressure than they were in the first half, or certainly 1.5 quarters of the first half. But West Perth are answering the challenge, and they're getting very good service from Dean Warwick, who's starting a lot of West Perth thrusts forward and being finished off by Les Fong up at full forward.
Yes, well, his heart would power a small city. 10-14, 10-6. Back in the centre. One down by Stockley. Managlio to McAlgic. Still it's McAlgic surrounded by South opponents. McAlgic holding the ball. Kick to go to Carter. And this game certainly lifting in tempo now as Carter kicks in towards half forward and the mark is taken down there by Craig Edwards. Plays on quickly. Della. High kick. That's a shocker really. Going back is Cutler. Misses the mark. Support from Bell close to the boundary line. Vagona is in there. The West Perth players don't want to keep it in. They don't. They get it out. But I think their supporters had their hearts in their mouths for a moment or two.
They made very hard work of knocking that ball out of bounds.
Especially when Vagona's around.
Yes.
Thrives in situations like that. Boundary throw in right full forward for South. 15-minute mark of the term. Edwards. This is Les Fong. Breaks away does Les Fong. Short kick. Intelligent kick, trying to run it out of bounds. Griliasic flicks it back on the outer side. Damon with courage. Fong to no one in particular. Griliasic. Vasoli. And Vasoli goes to ground as McAlgic arrives late. Matera. And the old hands for South now coming to the fore. Dorotic on a lead.
Back he goes, slowing the game up.
A shocking kick intended for Winmar. Winmar with still a chance. Claimed by Managlio. Carter dragged off a hand pass. This is Warwick. Left side. Oops. Oh. Chance now for South. Vagona. Hooks on goal. And he kicks it behind. Well, Dean Warwick wanting to get on that left side then and almost paying the penalty.
I've got a feeling he might be playing in defence down there in that back pocket. And Noel Carter appears to be down in the forward pocket.
South at 10-15, West Perth at 10-6. Suter. Grandstand side, a high kick. Dorotic should mark this one. And it's paid. Well, he barely marked it, if in fact he did. It was always going to be his. He made hard work of it.
He's almost got telescopic arms, John Dorotic. He always seems to get his hands on the ball first. He is a brilliant marker of the ball. There it is, a second time. Does he get it a third? He drags it in a third, and good enough to satisfy the umpire.
Goes short. Off hands now, Della. He's snapping away in this term, but has put together a succession of points, Merv Della. And that's the story of South's day. They lead by 10, all of them behinds. 10-16 to 10-6. 17 minutes played, third term.
He's not the best looking runner, the West Perth runner, Dennis.
Norman Nell.
Norman Nell.
He was a fine player for West Perth.
He was a very good player.
Looking very summery in the shorts.
In red socks.
Bell comes down the ground with a kick in. Managlio, the leaper from behind Dorotic. This is Stockley. Well, Stephen Mount decided to prop in front of the oncoming traffic. That is a hard way to earn a free kick. This is Bairstow, runs around McAlgic, kicks it down towards full forward. In from the side, Carter. Off hands, Cutler. Cutler deep in his own defensive zone, surrounded by South players. Robbed of the ball now. Well played. It's tapped across by Della. But Stevens will work West Perth out of trouble. Only as far, though, as O'Donnell. O'Donnell not listed in the budget. Has the ball on the half-forward flank to Winmar. Winmar running out of space. Kicks it to McAlgic. Bradmore on a lead. Winmar in front. Courageous effort to mark. Mount has had his hands full with Bradmore today, and now Fong and Mount get involved. Meantime, Dorotic has taken a mark. Dorotic gives it to Matera. Matera goes long towards goal, and South have kicked another point. Meanwhile, back in front of the grandstand, Mount and Fong getting involved.
Stephen Mount gives a little wave to the crowd in the West Perth stand. I think they were just having a rest out, actually.
This is Laidley. 82 plays 66. Vital period in this game. Mount crashes into the back of a West Perth player over there, and it's a free kick to McAlgic. I think the target was Bradmore. McAlgic getting in the way, and he earned that kick. McAlgic wasting no time, plays on, has a couple of bounces and goes short to Bradmore. Very short. Phil Bradmore inside 50, almost at the range of his kicking potential. Warwick is limping off the ground. Mifka is coming back on. Dean Warwick has Phil Bradmore, kicks and goal. Hasn't got the length. This is Little. Tackle on the grandstand wing, but only as far as Bradmore. In short, missed by Darren Buick. Gets a second chance to make amends. He's well tackled from behind. Kick it, he won't miss.
Dennis knows his West Perth players well. Kick it, he won't miss, and he didn't. Right through the middle. And West Perth answering the challenges. They're now within 5 points of South Fremantle. And Mithka just come back onto the ground. Now South Fremantle will have to be very careful who they put on Mithka. A very dangerous player. He's been off since half-time. He's just replaced Warwick. And he's gone, I think, onto the centre wing to oppose Nicky Winmar.
South Fremantle 10-17. West Perth 11-6. 20 minutes played, third term, back in the centre. Fisted forward by Stockley, taken by Mount of South Fremantle. A high kick back towards half forward. Della is down there, almost the diving mark. Gathered by Laidley. Hand passes to Managlio. Managlio to Bell. Bell does well, breaks through half back. Stockley across to Gastev. Gastev wide to Mifka. Mifka is taken high by Dorotic. And that's a free kick for Mifka, no doubt about that. He plays on quickly. Mifka in towards half forward. McAlgic roving the pack, grabs it. He's going goalward. Ham passes over the top. Sims will need to come on his left foot. Could have almost been holding the man. It is. Free kick for Doug Sims. On that occasion, a fumble producing a result. Watch this. Whoops. Sims kicks Cruelly. A I'm sure Paul Mifka was glad we stopped that. 12-6 West Perth, 10-17 South Fremantle, so
Let's
it's
have a look
West
at this.
Perth by a point.
Mifka taking the ball. There's the forearm jolt by Dorotich. In fact, he should have hit him with his body then. He was quite legitimately in position to hit him with his body. He decided to use his arm, gave away the free kick, and they're pretty well fired up, West Perth now. And he's a pretty tough customer, Mifka, because he got that one pretty solidly across the head and went on with it.
Back with umpire Hearn. Edwards and Stockley, won by Edwards, taken by Gaster, out wide to Mifka. Mifka over the top. Stockley's got it now. Back to Mifka. He'll come back on his left side, and as a result gets into trouble. Laidley in trouble now. Dropped the ball, according to umpire Hearn. Winmar unloads for a long kick. Look at that one. About 25 metres out from goal, off hands. Brendan Bell thumps it away. Goes to ground under a heavy tackle as well. Bairstow hand passes into the pocket. The leaper down there was Griliasic. Still he battles for the ball. Coming away is Suter to McAlgic. He's working hard for West Perth, George McAlgic. He goes around the outer side. Bradmore is out there. Knocked away by Dorotich, who's gone to centre half back. Bradmore leads in the race. This game is suddenly really warming up. Back to Dorotich. Dorotich for South Fremantle. Across the face of the ground to Della. Della can go on, gets around Mifka, left puts it down towards full forward. It's all West Perth at the fall of the ball, and it's taken by Bell. He can play on, he feeds the ball across to Laidley. Laidley looking for players down the grandstand side, pinpoints the ball to Mifka, and Mifka takes the mark at half back. Wasting no time, he goes infield looking for Stockley. Fickle bounce eludes him. Waiting behind, it's Buick. That's Corrie. Corrie, Buick and Edwards battle. Well played by Edwards as he paddles it out across towards Della. Della is robbed of it by Damon. Damon breaks away and kicks towards the grandstand side. Sims is there. Good mark by Sims, and Sims is away. Sims running towards half forward. Kicks it out wide looking for Bradmore. Over that player's head. Dorotich is there. Dorotich paddles the ball across to accommodate Mosconi. He's gone out of the game. Mosconi's left foot kick, not a good one. Bradmore close to the boundary line. In solidly as little. Back comes Bradmore. Brilliant stuff, Bradmore. Gets a hand pass to Sims to kick it. And kick it misses this one near side. West Perth 12-7. South Fremantle 10-17. So West Perth lead now by 2 points.
The Falcons are starting to fly. Michael's gone to centre half forward, and Dorotich, I think, down to centre half back. He might be on the ball.
Sam Braylow, a high kick towards the outer side, and the mark is taken in front for South Fremantle. As you can see, it's pretty even now, those centre square takeaways. South dominant early in that regard. Kick around the outer side by Craig Edwards, who took that mark. Off hands, gathered by West Perth on the outer side. Searching hand pass infield. McAlgic hits it across towards Buick. Buick runs the ball towards half forward. Long kick towards the square. Rogers down there, knocked away from him. Little leads back in the race. It's out of bounds. That emanated from a good hand pass from Damon at half back. 79 plays 77. Into time on. Third term. Hot day in Perth. And Rogers to do the ruck work. Opposed by Narkle. Kick it roving the pack. Nowhere to go. Close to the boundary line. Left foot. Cross field. Fong. And Fong takes the mark. Les Fong has kicked 5 goals this afternoon. And I venture to say he hasn't done that too often in his career. One of the all-time greats at West Perth, but not a goal-kicking rover as such. At goal number 6 could be coming up. Les Fong. Well, I've put the mocker on him. 12-8, 10-17. They needed that one.
Yes. Derek Kickett has played a classic half-forward flanker's game today, Dennis. He's been flashing in and out. He's been very effective with what he's done. And the reason Les Fong is getting opportunities to kick goals now is that West Perth are bringing the ball back into scoring positions in the middle of the ground, and that's where Les Fong lurks.
Sam Braylow to the outer side. Edwards was up and couldn't mark. Roving the pack, a chance for South Fremantle as Narkle got it across towards a teammate in Della. Della gets the ball across towards Griliasic. Griliasic goes long into the forward line. Jostling down there, almost the mark behind the pack for South Fremantle. Spills towards the goal square and rushed through by Cutler. Mount almost held that mark. Not bad luck for South Fremantle, he couldn't. And Cutler arriving very quickly. Brendan Bell wasting no time. Back towards the half-back line. Winmar the leaper from behind. Michael in front paid the mark, in fact. hooks it down towards full forward. Cutler is there, and the ball bounces out of bounds. Well, stage is set for a big finish.
Yes, it is, Dennis, and I'm not quite sure about this breeze. I think there is some breeze down there. There's no windsock here at Leederville Oval this season, and I've just been noticing the kicks from South Fremantle. They appear to be carrying a long way, a lot further than West Perth, who are kicking at the other end of the ground. So what I'm suggesting is that maybe South have got the breeze in this quarter and that West Perth will have it in the last.
Some careless work in the ruck there from Stephen Mount. Gives away a kick. Stockley takes it, goes short, looking for Fong. That's ambitious. Fong paddles it across the boundary line. 10-18 South, trailing West Perth 12-8. And South paying dearly for a lot of goal front and accuracy. Set shots missed early in the game. Coming back to haunt them now as West Perth are playing some very good football. Michael, clean possession. Gets it across towards a teammate in Bairstow. Was he taken high? Not according to the umpire. Back to Michael. Michael in turn gets it across to O'Connell. Vergona in front. Misses a simple chest mark, but with brilliance redeems the situation. No, penalised for holding the ball. He won the ball back, but could do nothing with it. Now Darren Buick is told to play on towards Stevens. Stevens is in real trouble. Tries to get it back towards Darren Buick. Buick at left half back. Claimed. Back to Stevens. Stevens from half back feeds the ball infield. Managlio on the break. Managlio kicks high towards half forward. South have got the numbers down there, and Craig Edwards takes the big mark. Gets a hand pass to Narkle. Dempsey Narkle kicks back towards the half forward line. Fisted away from Michael by Stevens. Roving the pack is Fong. Midway between half back and centre. Kicks out wide looking for Phil Bradmore. It brought up the chalk, and we'll have a throw in.
South have made wholesale moves in this quarter. Michael centre half forward, Mount to full forward, Dorotich to centre half back. Obviously they're worried.
Stockley trying to get it on to West Perth's advantage. Couldn't. This is Noel Carter. Still it's Carter, robbed of the ball by Gastev. Sells a dummy, pops it infield. Mifka. Now Mifka's got Sims free. Sims has got Kickett. Kickett's got nobody. Back to Sims. And South have successfully closed it down.
Not good football.
The hand pass, the execution from Sims to Kickett, not what it should have been.
And full marks to South Fremantle. They persevered.
South trailed by 2 points. Rogers was up. He's battled hard for them. Hand passes out wide looking for Mifka. Mosconi in there for South Fremantle. Hand passes straight up in the air. It's knocked on by Corey Buick. Taken there by Dorotich. Feeds a hand pass out wide looking for Vasoli. Robbed of it by Sims. He could kick it from here. Sims snaps back at goal. He's put it out of bounds on the full. He's the mercurial sort of player that bobs up now and again and kicks that sort of goal. On that occasion, yeah, well wide of the mark. It hasn't been his day as far as goal kicking's been concerned. This is Winmar. Winmar been a solid player for South Fremantle as he kicks around the outer side. McKeljick's had a very good term. Opposed there by Della. Knocked forward by Damon. Vasoli misread the ball. Comes wide to Rogers. Back infield to McKeljick. McKeljick dragged off the kick by Dorotich. Spills to Mifka. Mifka runs around the traffic. Long left footer down towards goal. Kickett battling down there with Mosconi. Kickett taps it forward, taken by Fong. And I think he's kicked his sixth. He has. Yes, he has. Les Fong, there he is, popping it through. 13-8 West Perth. 10-18 South Fremantle.
Not much doubt about who's the best man on the ground at the moment. The little West Perth skipper has been quite superb. When West Perth were in trouble earlier in the game, it was he that bounced, and he's gone right on with the job. He's kicked 6. He's defended magnificently. Clearly best man on the ground at this stage.
Rogers goes up opposed to Edwards, taken by Della. Kicks out wide. Matera coming down for South, gathers the ball, surrounded by West Perth players. He got the favourable bounce. Kicks it high in the air. Mount in front. Carries both he and Suter. Coming out is Cutler. And Cutler has the ball held to him, according to umpire Hearn, as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And West Perth lead by 8 points. West Perth 13-8. South Fremantle 10-18. 86 plays 78. And West Perth getting a warm ovation from their supporters after what was a very good term. Goal scorers for West Perth. Les Fong, superb, has kicked 6 goals. 2 to Derek Kickett. And singles to Buick, Bradmore, Stockley and Gastev. To South Fremantle, 2 to Bairstow, 2 to Grudisic. And singles to Della, Winmar, Vergona, Edwards, Michael and Matera. Checking scores at other grounds. East Fremantle 16-18, Swan District 6-8. 16-18 to 6-8 there. East Perth lead Claremont 8-7 to 4-11. And Subiaco lead Perth 15-11 to 10-10. So it would seem that this is, well, it certainly is the closest game so far. And it could turn out that way. One wonders if South have got much more left in the tank, because certainly West Perth did the better in that term. There are the scores from the other venues, and repeating the winners in the VFL today. Geelong thrashed Hawthorn. The Swans thrashed St Kilda. Footscray had a decisive victory over Carlton. Melbourne won easily against Fitzroy, and Essendon won a tight one against Richmond. With his thoughts to three-quarter time, here's Keith Slater.
Well, I thought it was the most decisive quarter of the whole game, and I thought that West Perth got right on top of South Fremantle. Then they came from behind and they've opened up a very handy lead at three-quarter time. Let's see, it's about 8 points, but it was a good effort from West Perth. They were aided, of course, by South Fremantle's inaccuracy. In fact, for the quarter, West Perth kicked 5 goals 3, and South Fremantle kicked 2 goals 7. So South floundering in front of goals, but most of their scoring was done early in the quarter, South Fremantle, because in the last part of the quarter, the last quarter of an hour of that third quarter, West Perth got right on top, and I thought South Fremantle became unbalanced. Obviously, Don Haddow, their coach, became worried, and I don't think his moves paid off. In fact, if anything, I think his wholesale changes unsettled South Fremantle. He moved Michael to centre-half forward. Now, Dorodic had been doing fairly well there. In fact, he'd been a focal point in attack for South Fremantle. He took him away to centre-half back. And Mount went to full forward. Moscone was taken off the ball. Now, he'd been an effective ruck rover, and he was sent away to a half-back flank to look after Kickett, who was starting to play very well on that half-back flank. And all these moves worked against South Fremantle for mine, because they became unsettled, and West Perth, who'd been dogged and enthusiastic all day, started to really fire. They started to handle the ball well. They're a fanatical side when they get mood, and they really started to fire very well. I thought earlier in the quarter, Dean Warwick, who was playing in defence at that stage, started to play very well, and he started West Perth moving on numerous occasions. I thought he was well supported by Bell, who I thought played very well, and in the middle of the ground I thought McKeljic played his best quarter for the game. He was a dominant player in the middle, and he was well supported, of course, by Les Fong, clearly the best man on the ground. And what a superb game he's played. He kicked 3 goals in that third quarter. He had many kicks in defence, and what an inspiration he is to any side. Every time I see this man play, he keeps lifting and lifting and lifting. Very much the same as Steve Malaxas did at Claremont when he was playing there. And I don't know where West Perth would be without him. But he's lifted West Perth. They fired on all cylinders in that quarter, and they finished at three-quarter time with their noses in front. And even though there's no windsock here, I think they'll have the advantage of whatever breeze there is. So that 8-point lead is a very handy one at this stage. I thought Steve Michael battled pretty hard for South Fremantle, as did Grilicic on a wing, but they didn't have their momentum working for them. They're not really playing at full tempo at the moment, South Fremantle, and I think that Don Haddow has got a very skilled team, but he's got to start getting through to these sides that players are only good players when they're really giving it their best shot, when they're absolutely and totally desperate. And if they want to know what that means, they can look at their opposition today, who, although lacking a little bit in talent, know what it's all about. They have a fanatical desire to win the game. They are desperate from start to finish. And, of course, if a side has a flat spot, as South Fremantle did then West Perth will grab them. They did it then, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go on and win this game, even though I think South, with their talent, will bounce back very strongly.
All right, thanks, Bud. So the siren has sounded to call these two teams back out for the final term. Just talking with Paul Mountain. Paul, your old roommate out there, Paul Visoli, I thought drifted out of the game late in that quarter, and I thought that was responsible perhaps for suddenly West Perth really seizing the initiative in midfield.
I think you're definitely right there, Dennis. West Perth have persevered all day with their usage of the ball. They've certainly used the ball a lot better than South Fremantle, and at the moment I've noted here guys like Paul Visoli, Noel Carter, Merv Dalla and the new fella Bairstow have all lacked the influence on the game that they had earlier. I said earlier in the game that they were the ones that were running and had the ball for South Fremantle. The tail has turned a bit now, where West Perth have got the use of the ball. They're using it with a lot more skill than South Fremantle are, and they're not wasting their opportunities as far as I think Souths are. And I think that's the big difference in the game at the moment.
Did you think in that quarter, Paul, that both sides threw off the specific instructions that new coaches can give you when they are new coaches, and all of a sudden just got stuck in and started playing football? I thought maybe early on the tempo was a bit low because the players were trying to follow the instructions just a bit too closely.
Well, actually, on the contrary, I think West Perth probably have stuck religiously to their coach's instructions, and it's paying dividends for them now. They're instructed not to just throw the ball onto their foot. They're using the ball very, very well, and that's what John Wynne's been preaching the whole time during his pre-season. And I think it's really showing up for them now. South are starting to look tired. West Perth looking good.
The method up forward is very good, isn't it? Moving the ball back into the centre.
Just checking the stats. Firstly, on West Perth, McAlgic 13 kicks, 7 hand passes. Fong 19 kicks, 5 hand passes, 6 goals. Bradmore 12 kicks, 4 hand passes. Laidley 11 and 7. Sims 12 and 5. And for South Fremantle, Mosconi 12 and 7. Dorotich 12 kicks, 5 hand passes. Dempsey Narkle 14 and 2. Matera 11 and 8. Where's Paul Visoli? 11 and 5. So a lot of those players that they rely on, Nicky Winmar incidentally 12 and 7, a lot of those players they rely on in midfield haven't given them the drive, certainly in that term. Start the final quarter, and we find that West Perth lead by 8 points. Rogers and Michael. A chance for Buick. This is Mifka. Smothered off the boot by Amoroso. Back comes Rogers again to Mifka. Mifka shrugs off a tackle. From centre wing he goes down towards half forward. Gastev getting free out there. Spills off hands to be taken by Visoli. That's an interesting stat, isn't it? South have never won from behind, certainly in 1984. They'll need to do it today. Buick finds Kickett. Now Kickett can do this. You watch this style. He'll run in and give it a good whack. He's off target from behind. 13-9, 10-18. So first blood in the last term to West Perth. This is Sam Braylow, the fullback. He's done a pretty good job down there. Not afraid to come down the ground and lend support. Michael is up. In close attendance, Mifka appear to be held without it. Michael infield. Matera gives it across towards Mosconi. These are the players they need. Mosconi goes towards half forward. Della's in front down there. Couldn't take the mark. Butters up again. This is Damon. Damon, the long hand pass to Fong. Best man on the ground by a mile to Buick. Buick out wide. West Perth getting free. This is Mifka. And this is dangerous for South Fremantle. Mifka centres the ball. Big packet the fall of it. Sam Braylow from behind. Strong mark. Likely looking customer. On the break. He tries to get it to the man coming grandstand side, Matera, but succeeded only in kicking the ball to the man on the mark. Now Carter gets it eventually to Matera, who remained unchecked through all of that. Mosconi, whoa, no support. Gets it infield. O'Connell back towards Mosconi.
Well played.
Mosconi right half forward. Managlio runs him down, but not before the kick is sent on its way to Edwards. Edwards a hand pass back over the oncoming players, and as a result Damon can break it up. Rogers goes in, lends a great shepherd. Damon centre field to McAlgic. Now McAlgic can go for distance and does. It's a high kick into the forward line. Stockley forward. West Perth have got the men on the ground. Darren Buick and Sims. Still it's Darren Buick looking for support. Darren Buick is tackled, gets a hand pass across to Stockley. Stockley gives the hand pass to Sims. Sims kicks, and what's he done with it? It's a behind. Well, had Doug Sims kicked straight, West Perth perhaps could have banked this game by now.
I think West Perth are getting good support from their big men. There's nothing stylish about them, but Rogers and Stockley have done very well today, and we've seen Rogers move the ball out of the centre on many occasions, and Stockley gaining possession in the full forward line on many occasions.
Sam Braylow kicks in, looking for Mosconi. Darren Buick gets a hand to it. Unkind bounce for Mount, taken by Bradmore. Back towards half forward. Visoli was there. Sims trying to force his way through the pack. Narkle knocks it across to accommodate Carter, and Carter is taken high and will get the free kick. And 15 metres. The offending player Corey Buick. Noel Carter, one of the mainstays over so many years for South Fremantle. Kicks out wide, looking for Winmar. Winmar can draw a man, does that. That was Fong, gives it to Matera. But the execution by South Fremantle at the present time, rather casual. And West Perth forced the ball across the boundary line.
Yes, their skill's not good. That was a very bad handball. Bad handball from Nicky Winmar.
Rogers and Michael. Michael forced to run the width of the ground on that occasion. Matera, again, no real support. Gruljasic gives it to Vasoli, who perhaps could have moved the first time for Matera. He kicks it towards half forward with a high kick. Laidley didn't take the mark. Chance now for Della. Soccer's off the ground. Heath Suter leads back in the race. Craig Edwards, a shade tentative. Heath Suter's got the ball and kicks to the outer side. McAlgic. Mifka is free down the ground. The hand pass comes infield to Laidley. Laidley breaks and left foots towards half forward. Gastiff is there. Gastiff takes the mark, plays on, runs through half forward, thinks about drawing the man. The hand pass not a good one to Sims. Sims is tackled high though, and he'll get the free kick.
Within kicking distance.
West Perth are running all over South Fremantle. Doug Sims, 45 out. Kick looks pretty good. Now it's falling away to the right-hand side. Another behind.
Have we been keeping behinds today? Because Doug Sims has kicked plenty of them.
No, we haven't, but he has. Well, that's a nondescript kick into play. Derek Kickett couldn't quite handle it. McAlgic dragged off the kick. Down towards the pocket, and Darren Buick. Amoroso goes in, pushed off it. Back to Darren Buick. Snaps towards goal. Fine effort from there. Mount gets back and fists are behind. Now that was a very poor kick into play by South.
It was a magnificent snapshot by Darren Buick. That really was a good kick, setting it right up in front, giving the West Perth side every opportunity.
Sambrelo goes to the outer side. Michael is out there. Gruljasic to Carter. 90 plays 78. Carter goes out wide to Michael. Mosconi is free. That's the direction the hand pass takes. A good long one. Sending Mosconi away on the outer side. Mosconi goes down towards half forward. Bell is behind the pack. Can he keep his balance? Della arrives on the scene. Bell and Della close to the boundary line. South with a chance. No, it's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. And South haven't done much attacking so far in this term.
No, they're not good at coming from behind, and they're going to be struggling to win this game. One can't see where they can win it.
Dorotich and Stevens. One behind the pack by Stevens. Della. Bairstow is in this one too. Hand pass across the ground. This is Gruljasic. Gruljasic tries to have a bounce. Forced to kick with his wrong foot. The right one down towards the pocket. Craig Edwards, who's really had a tough day out there today, and again doesn't show a lot of conviction as the ball goes out of bounds. He's a class player, Craig Edwards, a former state player, but today certainly hasn't been one of his days.
Been very tentative, Craig Edwards, today.
13-12 to 10-18. Off hands taken there by West Perth. Suter's hand pass looking for Fong, puts his body in. In goes Menaglio, brilliantly gets it across towards Damon. Damon with some time. Hand passes back towards Rogers. Rogers a hand pass back in turn to Suter. They're in trouble now. A chance for South Fremantle as Della feeds the hand pass to Mosconi. Brilliantly blanketed by Bell. Chance once again for O'Donnell, this time for South. And what's the decision? Will it be a bounce? I think it will be. As you can see behind the play, things warming up a little.
Rogers quite happy to take big Craig Edwards on. He's a big, rough, tough-looking farmer from Tamman, I should say. And he was right in his alley, Craig Edwards, on that occasion.
12 points the difference. West Perth lead. We've played about 7 minutes of the term. Rogers. Suter. This is Buick. Back it comes to Fong, to Buick. Well played by West Perth in a tight situation. Mount over his head. McAlgic has been a fine player. McAlgic from left centre wing goes looking for Stockley. Stockley misses the ball. Sambrelo's got it now. Winmar calling for it, but not running for it. He's a tired man, Nicky Winmar. He leads in the race. Mifka, too much pace, wanted it more. Well played, Paul Mifka. Mifka looks infield. Kicks it back, but the defence is there, missing the mark in front. Mount, he's had a dirty day. Hand pass comes out as far as Vasoli. That's ambitious. Carter surrounded. South Fremantle not looking impressive at all. This is O'Donnell. No, it's Bairstow. Bairstow kicks only as far as Damon. Damon goes short and finds Gastu. There's a man deep in the pocket. That's Buick. That's where the kick is headed. In from the side, Dempsey Narkle couldn't take the mark. Little leads back in the race. He's got it. Kicks across the face of the oval. Bradmore leads in the race, but the boundary line is too near. 78 to 90. In other matches, East Fremantle appear destined to beat Swan Districts. East Perth have a handy 4-goal break on Claremont. And Subiaco likewise over Perth. At this, the 8.5-minute mark of the final term at Leederville. Bringing the ball away is Little. Little kicks towards the outer side. In front out there, West Perth. Can't win the ball, though. This is Mosconi. Mosconi breaks away from Laidley and kicks intelligently to find Winmar. Winmar goes in short looking for Vagona. Vagona hasn't contributed a lot today. O'Donnell knocks the ball on to Dorotitch's advantage, but Menaglio is in there for West Perth, and he's content to run it across the boundary line.
Very hard to see where South Fremantle can get back into this game. They're not prepared to work as hard as West Perth, and the West Perth are not noted for stopping when they've got a chance.
Stevens, the leaper from behind. Cutler. Chance for South Fremantle now. Battling in there is O'Donnell. O'Donnell, last-minute inclusion. Suter is dragged off a hand pass. Winmar goes in, and there's going to be a ball up. Plenty of time, but South really making heavy weather of it.
They're struggling, aren't they?
Yeah.
The ball handling's not good. They're obviously lacking confidence.
Won by West Perth. Carter misses the ball. Winmar to Della. Della to Matera. Should they make it hard? Matera with brilliant individual skill hooks it down towards full forward. Menaglio is there. Menaglio, the long hand pass to Mifka. Mifka in all sorts of trouble. Gets a hand pass to Stevens. Stevens in turn across to Laidley. Laidley the hand pass. In fact, he feigned one. This is Fong. Darren Buick. Darren Buick's away. One bounce. Two. Storming down towards half forward. Looking for Bradmore. Bradmore cuts across half forward. Long hand pass Sims. Now can he make amends, Doug Sims? I think he's missed again. Well,
What would you give him? About 1-6?
he hasn't kicked one, has he?
I think he's kicked one.
Kick towards the outer side. Winmar was up. This is Dorotich. Della. Della has a bounce. Runs through centre. Kicks long into attack. Menaglio deep in defence gets up and fists it down. Going through solidly there is O'Donnell. O'Donnell of South. Hand passes to Mosconi. Inside 50 metres Mosconi. Long kick towards the goal square. Touched off hands. Up against the goalpost then. Heath Suter down there with Stephen Michael. 91 plays 78. Or was it 79? 79. Brendan Bell right down the middle, but it's all South Fremantle, taken by Dorotich. Comes across the ground. Vasoli, he needs a shepherd. He gets one from Bairstow. In short, Matera. Now Matera indecisive again. Lines up on goal, kicks, and hits the post. Well, there was obviously a lack of talking there. Matera undecided about whether to go or stay. And as a result, he got too close to the oncoming West Perth defender.
Confidence a little low in the South camp.
They're not out of this, though. Suter kicks in. Knocked on by Rogers intelligently. Mifka's away. The hand passes on to McAlgic. Back it can go to Mifka. And Mifka can run like the wind. Bradmore is on, but Mifka can run to 50. Kicks long down towards full forward. That is a long kick, slightly astray. And now Bradmore remonstrating. Perhaps he should have received the hand pass.
South Fremantle falling down very badly in the tackling department. They know nothing about persistence in chasing.
13-14 to 10-20. Dorotich out his side. Had a brilliant first half. His kicking was astray, though. Kick it. It's out of bounds. So West Perth by 12 points at the 12-minute mark of the final term. The other winners today seem assured. East Fremantle, East Perth and Subiaco. So some surprises there. And this could be a surprise. They could be 4 upsets. Noel Carter gives it back to Mount. Mount goes long. Nobody in the end of it. Mifka. Hasn't he lifted since he came back onto the ground. Tackled by Bairstow. It's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in on the outer side.
Yes, it's interesting that they haven't taken stronger measures to guard Mifka. He was very damaging early, and then Grilicic went onto him and almost cut him out of the game. He was forced off the ground, in fact.
Rogers wins it down. Wide of the pack now. A chance for Della. Steve Michael is coming off the ground, and that's the last thing South need. He seems to be okay, though. Mifka's got it, meantime. Mifka back towards half forward. South have plenty of numbers there, and Mount takes the mark in front. There's Stockley coming off for West Perth. And Stephen Mount with the ball at half back. It's pretty casual, but gets it across to Della. Della long to Griliasic. He likes to go on his left foot, and as a result had nowhere to go. They're not thinking about who they're giving the ball to or where they're giving it to him. This is Bell. Bell kicks it out wide. Vasoli, and Dean Warwick is back on the ground. The ball's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
They're all too casual, South Fremantle. I can't see them winning the game. I know they're within striking distance, but it's just not there. The brilliance, the confidence, the perseverance with their tackles when necessary.
One by South. Fong at the base of all of that. Tried to knock it through the pack. Hand pass from Bradmore to Buick. Oh, a shade offline. Missed down there by Little. Picked up by Buick. Buick snaps. Needed a little more time. Puts it out of bounds on the full, and Doug Sims tells him what he should have done.
I don't know how many attacks West Perth have broken up through their absolute perseverance, and they just not let South. They haven't given South an inch, and it's been the difference between the two sides. That same fanatical desire, South Fremantle might well have been in front at this stage.
Little goes towards the outer side. Two South players up. No cop in that. Kick at a chance. He goes to ground. Noel Carter emerges with the ball for South Fremantle. Hand pass, not a particularly good one. Unlucky bounce for Gastev. Going in was Amoroso. Still it's Amoroso. Persevering is Gastev. Well played to Buick. Buick pops it out wide, looking for his brother. That's Corrie to Darren. Darren's got the ball about 50 metres out. Goes across the ground looking for Fong. Any one of about 3 or 4 can take it. Les Fong does. So Les Fong, only about 25 metres out. A chance to make it very awkward indeed for South Fremantle. Already he's kicked 6. Les Fong's kicked 7.
Number one boy.
What a remarkable little man.
Number one boy at Leederville Oval, and he should be today. Superb performance. And what a passage of football that was. The three Rovers getting together. Corrie Buick to Darren Buick. Back over to the captain, Les Fong. Number 7 on the board. And if West Perth are going to succeed this year, you can bet your life that those 3 talented little men are going to play a very, very big part. There he is, number 6, Captain Courageous.
And that's going to take some pulling back. 18 points. Buick trying to crash his way through. Taken high. He'll get a free kick.
Gaining in confidence all the time is Corrie Buick. Good signs here today.
18 points the difference. Buick going long into the forward line. Off hands, a chance for Dempsey. Narkle kick, it's got it. Here's trouble for South. Kick it, snaps. That is very, very close. And behind. That's a handy point. 19 points the difference now. It didn't miss by much.
There's been a very good performance by Derek Kickett. I didn't think he looked 100% fit before the game started, but by Jove, he's been a damaging player on that half-forward flank. Has nipped in and out, and as all the good half-forward flankers do. They're not in the game all day, but by Jove, they're dangerous when they flash in.
Sam Braylow kicks in, grandstand side, in front Vasoli. Flicked backward of the pack. This is Winmar. Gets it across to Mount. Mount hooks it down towards centre wing. Managlio is there. O'Connell, or rather O'Donnell, didn't know really what to do in that situation. Although he butters up again and wins the ball. Mosconi is well tackled. Hand pass comes across from Matera to Winmar. He goes down towards full forward. Arnold is there, knocked away by Suter. Chance again for Matera. Diving on top of the ball is Bell.
And that's the difference, Dennis. That's the difference. You haven't seen South do that once today. West Perth, no hesitation. Dive it on it when they're in trouble. Smother it up.
Rogers wins it wide. Bagona and Managlio. This is Bell. Across the face of goal. And Winmar is really labouring out there, but he's got plenty of time. Although closing on him is Heath Suter. Winmar chips it in short. Bairstow surrounded but takes the mark. Now this young man playing in his first league game must kick a goal here for South. They desperately need it.
Well, he's got good skills, Bairstow. We mentioned his skills before, and he gets the kicks away nicely. And badly needed goal, this one for South.
He's already kicked 2. But when they need it, he can't register a goal. Gets through for a behind. So the margin back to 18 points. And South 10-21. West Perth 14-15. Stockley preparing to come back on. Brendan Bell, who's done most of the kicking in today, played well in the back pocket. Kicks towards the outer side. It's all South out there, but Craig Edwards drops the mark. Stevens gets a hand pass across to Mifka. Pushed off a handball. Rogers goes after it. Long hand pass, but straight to Dorotic. Dorotic pops it across wide. Damon is there, though. Mosconi was free. Yards in the clear on the other side of the ground, but Damon wins it for West Perth. Hooks it back along the grandstand wing. Ball bounces high. Gruljasic does well. Tries to knock it across to Mount. Mount is held without it. Play can go on. No. Umpire Hearn says bring it back. South Fremantle wouldn't be too happy with that. Sambrelo has the ball. Sambrelo goes in short. Carter should mark and does. Thought about playing on. Does. Dorotic is in trouble. Taken high. Well, South very lucky to get out of that. Dorotic plays onto Vasoli. Vasoli goes out wide to Mosconi. And Mosconi takes the mark. Gives it back to Vasoli. Vasoli goes long down towards full forward. Steve Michael is coming back on the ground. Could be the last gasp for South Fremantle. The gunner comes off as the ball is forced through for a behind. And now Laidley and Winmar getting involved. Well, they'll need to be all of that. That is a surprising statistic, given that Don Haddow has been saying they've lacked fitness. They have been the most productive team in last quarters last season, South Fremantle. Well above the WAFL average of points kicked in that term. Tempers becoming frayed on what's been a pretty hot day for football, but West Perth have played some hot football as Bell goes out wide and finds Paul Mifka. Return to the wing, and my word, he's done well since he came back onto the ground. Stevens around the outer side. 17 points the difference. West Perth leads. Sims has got it. Takes a while to turn to Sims. Bradmore lending assistance to McAlgic. McAlgic pops it over the top looking for Sims, and Sims has taken the mark. Fong calling for the ball down towards the pocket. Sims will bring it across the ground, looking for Fong still, and Fong takes this mark about 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Now, he's kicked 7. I would have to say, without even reference to a record book, that this would be an individual best. 7, I think, would be. 8, he's just Lairising. Les Fong.
I think the West Perth supporters tell the story. They're standing as one in front of us here in the grandstand and all around the ground, in fact, and they love this little guy out here, and he's been reading the game magnificently, and West Perth's style of play of moving the ball back into the centre of the ground has suited him admirably. It's allowed him to move down the centre of the ground, and he's been on the end of some good passes, right position at the right time. 8 goals, Les Fong. First win of the season to West Perth.
15-15 to 10-22, 105 to 82. We've played about 22 and a half minutes final term. McAlgic comes away. High kick. Damon camped underneath it, drops it. Now a chance for Gruljasic. He left without it. Back comes Damon, knocked on intelligently by Matera. And now Della's away, has one bounce and his second. Goes looking for O'Donnell, and O'Donnell takes the mark inside 50 metres. South needing a very quick reply. Mosconi breaking towards the pocket. He ignores that. Mosconi on a very sharp angle, continuing that lead to the boundary line. O'Donnell, terrible kick. Missed down there by West Perth initially, but they've got the numbers. In goes Winmar for South Fremantle. It's knocked out by West Perth to accommodate Mifka. It was well played by Suter. Mifka gives a hand pass to Stockley. Stockley kicks out wide to McAlgic. Bradmore is free. That's the direction the kick takes. Bradmore's got it on half forward. Has one bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces. Kick it now. Two goals to Phil Bradmore, and West Perth have won this game 16-15 to 10-22. That's the score as we approach time on. But they've had plenty of run, and Phil Bradmore epitomising that.
Yes, they've really looked the goods today, and one had to admire their perseverance, their desperation. Early in the game, they weren't going as well. South weren't putting the effort in, but had a lot of talented players out there. But West Perth have worn South Fremantle down, worked their way to the front, and it's been a very impressive performance.
Phil Bradmore, one of the characters. John Wynne, great start for him. Stephen Michael trying to crash his way through the pack. Damon to Gastu. McAlgic, what a game he's had. looking for Bradmore. Can he get it to Fong? Bradmore goes it alone to Warwick. Warwick from 25 metres out kicks another one. (17-15 to 10-22), and the crowd are loving it.
And it's raining goals here at Leederville Oval. South Fremantle have cracked wide open, and what a start for John Wynne. West Perth supporters are clapping everybody coming on and off the ground. On goes big Kim Rogers. He's done a serviceable job, as that big Stockley. No class about them, but they've worked hard in the packs, and they've contested the centre bounce downs very strongly and magnificently supported on at ground level by the likes of Fong, McKeljic, later in the game Gastev. Warwick's played his part, and Managlio. They've both been in defence at some time during the game. Good performance.
Crooked bounce. Carter's got it. Claimed by Darren Buick. Laidley. McKeljic. Darren Buick. Warwick. Mifka. Long kick is Mifka. Raised the post. 17-16, 10-22. And now West Perth are really punishing South Fremantle. Dempsey Narkle is short one. Matera takes the mark. Molly Matera, half back for South. Goes short again to Visoli. And South really, I think, hoping the clock runs down. Paul Visoli from half back. Another short kick. Griliasic. Griliasic kicking towards half forward. Managlio, who's gone back to a half-back flank and done very well there. Manag's unloaded. High kick towards centre wing. Dorotic, who's tried very hard for South, is ambitious as he tries to go through Damon. Socket off the ground by McKeljic. Chance here for Griliasic. Matera, he's tried very hard for South. Taken low, and Matera will get the free kick. And the West Perth crowd conceding nothing. This is Carter. Had an influence early, but went right out of the game. Down towards Arnold. Arnold knocks it wide of the pack. Chance for Cutler and Laidley in there. Bell too. South Fremantle working the ball forward without conviction. Moscone. A hand pass to no one in particular. Taken by Bell. Straight to Arnold, who drops it. Was pushed in the back, and he'll get a free kick. So Paul Arnold at centre half forward. Too far out to score, I think. Goes down towards full forward. Craig Edwards looking for a run at the ball. Fong is bobbed up at both ends of the ground. Kicks it back towards centre field. Damon. And Damon will get 15 metres. He's made a difference too, Wayne Damon, to McKeljic. McKeljic over the top to Mifka. Mifka, forward of centre, goes long down towards full forward. Off hands, a chance for Amoroso. Sims off the ground, and he's missed in. Well, he's had a million kicks for a half-forward flanker, Doug Sims, today, and he's got nothing to show for it. Although West Perth have got the 4 points, mind you, he beats them. It comes towards Dorotic, who collides with Damon. Damon is a man who will not make concessions. Taken high, and he'll get a free kick. So Don Haddow's got some problems after day one of the centenary year.
Yes, I can only think they must be a very hard side to control. Lots of talent out there for South.
McKeljic inside 50 is off target. 2.5 minutes of time on played. West Perth in a canter now. 17-18 to South's 10-22. Claremont are coming back at East Perth in their game. Subiaco and East Fremantle will be winners. Hand pass from South, ill-directed. That was Mount. Fong's got it. Looking for Gastev, and Gastev takes the mark in the pocket. Gastev hooking it across the face of the ground. Kick it from behind. Not paid. It's going to be a bounce. Wasn't a bad leap.
As the attempted mark again, Dennis. Kick driven in by Gastev. And that's kick at number 18. And it looked a pretty clean mark.
Meanwhile, back in the action, Rogers kicks in towards full forward. He's way off target. It's out of bounds on the full. West Perth 17-18. South Fremantle 10-22. Short kick comes in from Little. Narkle's shocking effort comes across the face of the ground. This is Gastev. Darren Buick to Fong. Crowd want 9. And 9 it is. Les Fong. 9 goals this afternoon and a virtuoso performance. He started slowly. In fact, I thought at the start he looked as if he was carrying an injury. But hasn't he blossomed?
Well, what should be spelled out also, Dennis, is that he has had a lot of kicks in defence. When West Perth was struggling early in the game, he positioned himself in defence and saved West Perth time and time again. So one could say he's kicked 9 and maybe saved 4 or 5.
Dorotic goes up and wins it down to Carter, who fumbles. Back towards Michael, who misses it. Dorotic goes again. This is Sam Braylo. Sockers it off the ground out towards centre wing. Damon leads in the race. Gastev is shepherding. Damon, thanks to good support from Gastev, gets it to Managlio. A high kick towards half forward. Bradmore is there. In close attendance was Mount. Bradmore butters up again. Kicks in short. Darren Buick. Now where's Les Fong? He's back on the wing. He can't do much now. Having a well-earned drink, but I'm sure the spirit running so high amongst the West Perth players, they'd probably try and get it to him on a short pass if he was in the pocket. But Darren Buick, a chance to kick his first of the afternoon. He's been a pretty good player, especially early in the game. And Buick kicks another one. West Perth 19-18, South Fremantle 10-22.
Yeah, very impressive performance, and as Dennis said, Don Haddow with some problems. But John Wynne, in contrast, must be very happy with what I've seen here today. Mind you, we saw this type of spirit and effort from West Perth on many occasions last season. They just didn't put it together often enough to win enough games to get into the 4. But by the same token, the spirit has never deserted West Perth. And even though they haven't been in the 4 for a while, they show every sign here of coming back very strongly. They've got to improve in a couple of departments, and maybe we'll have a look at that a bit later on.
They lead by 50 points. They have scooted away in this final term. Rogers wins it down. There's Fong. Brilliant. McAlgic. Damon. Storming through half forward Wayne Damon. There's the siren. And West Perth have won in most comfortable fashion. West Perth 19-18, 132. South Fremantle 10-22, 82. So 50 points the margin. And John Wynne starts his coaching career back at West Perth on a winning note. Les Fong, 9 goals this afternoon. 2 apiece to Bradmore and Kickett. And singles to Buick. That's Darren and Corrie. And singles to Stockley, Warwick and Gastev. And for South Fremantle, I think Sims also kicked a goal. And for South Fremantle, 2 apiece to Bairstow and Rod Grilisic. And singles to Della, Winmar, Vergona, Edwards, Michael and Matera. Well, South didn't kick a goal in the last quarter. They added just 4 points, and that really was a sorry indictment of the way they played that final term. With his thoughts and best players, here's Keith Slater.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, a magnificent performance by West Perth, and as I was just saying, they showed this type of form on many occasions last season, but not often enough. And under new coach John Wynne, he must be absolutely elated with what he saw here today. From start to finish, they were absolutely desperate, whereas South at the start weren't desperate. West Perth lacking a little bit in the skill department compared to their opposition today. Were never down at any stage. They kept boring in. They kept putting pressure on South Fremantle until South Fremantle cracked wide open in that second half. In fact, in the second half, West Perth kicked 11 goals 13 to South's 2 goals 11. In the third quarter, West Perth kicked 5-3 to 2-7. And in the last quarter, West Perth running right away with the game, kicking 6 goals 10 to just 4 points. And the whole side lifted. They were magnificently led by Les Fong. And all around the ground in this last quarter, we saw every man fitting in magnificently, running on, making that extra yard if it was necessary, not giving South Fremantle an inch. And that really is what brought South Fremantle undone. The fact that they couldn't get their free-flowing game going, and the pressure of West Perth was such that they eventually gave it away in what was a pretty hot day of football. South Fremantle and Don Haddow have their problems. Now, they don't have problems with talented players. In fact, when one looks through their side, there's talent all over the field. but it must be a very hard thing to harness this talent down the South Fremantle, to get the players mentally attuned that even though they have talent, they're only good when they're giving it their best shot.
Undoubtedly Les Fong. Paul Mifka, when he came back onto the ground, played well. Bradmore, Cutler and Laidley. To South Fremantle, Dorotich, Gruljasic, Della, Winmar and Mosconi. Well, let's talk about that game. West Perth, brilliantly led by captain Les Fong today, completely overran South Fremantle to win the match at Leederville Oval, as I told you, by 50 points. And Les Fong kicked his biggest tally of goals in league football when he finished with 9. It was a strange sort of a game because in the first 2 quarters, one could sense that South may take control, but their kicking for goal was terribly inaccurate and they paid the price. West Perth got great service from just about all of their running players today, including George McAlgic, the Buick brothers, John Gastiff and Dean Laidley. Phil Bradmore was a live wire at centre-half forward, and the longer the game went, the more West Perth ran. New coach John Wynne must have been delighted with his team's precision, and the discipline they showed was a credit to him. By contrast, Don Haddow has some problems tonight. South Fremantle lacked cohesion, and they failed to run the game out. For the Bulldogs, John Dorotich started the game very well at centre-half forward. Paul Vasoli battled hard, as did Wally Matera and their young fullback, Mark Sambrello. A decision to place Warren Mosconi in defence after half-time backfired on Souths because the team really lost any drive they had in midfield and up forward. I think South Fremantle have a lot of thinking to do prior to next Saturday's derby because they really did lack pace all over the ground. An interesting sidelight for me today was that West Perth's former assistant coach Clinton Farmer was Don Haddow's assistant, and after the game I took the opportunity of talking to him and the star of the day, Les Fong. Well, there's 9 goals this afternoon. Have you ever done that before in a league game or even come close?
No, never, Dennis. No, the best I've done, I think, is 5.
Well, we saw today, it's always difficult to tell, of course, we saw today you were listed as a ruck rover. You bobbed up in defence on the forward line, running into that hole across half forward. Obviously, that style of play up forward suited your side, but were you ruck roving? How did you find the difference between what you've been accustomed to doing?
Yeah, so I was ruck roving, and a little bit different, the fact that you don't have to run quite as hard to the four-ball. You know, that's a rover's job, and ruck rover tries to read the play, and that probably suits me a bit because I can save my legs and try and drift to the spots that I want to.
And you got good support from the Buick brothers, a bit like the Cracker brothers, but they really played well today, didn't they, Corrie and Darren?
Yeah, it's great to see Corrie back. You know, he's a tremendous footballer, and Daz, he's got a lot of ability in front of him, and the two of them together, I think, would make a good combination.
A lot of people were sceptical about the preparation West Perth had, but it was West Perth who ran out the game.
Yes, you know, it's only one game, and I think if you get a run on, sometimes it's not just the fitness factor, it's just the fact the fellas are all starting to run, they keep going, and so we'll just take it week by week.
Well, excuse me, I've got to go across here now and talk with Clinton Farmer, the assistant coach at West Perth last year. I would have thought you would have known them a little bit better.
Well, Dan, they certainly play well. We did our research, we knew the sort of football they were going to play, and unfortunately we didn't come to grips with it, but that reinforces the principle of football. If you've got pressure on the side, you don't allow them to play, so it's open football. Had on early and it slipped.
Well, South seemed very reluctant to help. The number of shepherds, I suppose you could count on one hand this afternoon.
Yeah, it's something we've stressed, and I don't know whether players were memorised by having to chase players and chase position, people running to position, but that went out of our game for sure.
And you must have been impressed by West Perth.
I was impressed with the way they used the ball, but as I say, under the lax pressure that we adopted towards them, they're allowed to play their style. I think we had them early, we missed easy shots in the third quarter, but when we had the pressure on, they're always going to make a mistake. Unfortunately, couldn't keep it on long enough.
Well, it seemed when you looked at the two sides you had marking power up forward, but that really didn't eventuate, did it? You must have been disappointed with the efforts of, say, Edwards and Arnold.
Yeah, it's not good games for them. Early on, I thought we could have used Dorotich better. He dropped some easy marks. It could have been telling for West Perth. They could have been probably down a bit at quarter time. Unfortunately, as you say, Edwards marked reasonably around the ground, but just didn't have enough finish in their game up front to utilise Arnold's marking power.
Well, I think it's only fitting we go back to the little man for the final word. 9 goals this afternoon. I know you're always tentative to make any bold predictions, but it's a great start for the season. Where will West Perth go from here?
Well, we're very pleased with the way the young fellows play, especially the back line. You know, they're all around 19, 20 years of age. It was great to see them combine together. So, you know, the emphasis obviously is on youth at the moment. They'll learn. Hopefully us senior players can hold our form, and if we all combine, obviously our goal is just to make the 4 if we can.
Any aspirations about winning the goal kicking?
No, I think that's just a one-off.